Welcome to Hawaii. Today, this island paradise is home to one of college football's season-ending senior showcases. Nearly 90 young men take the field today. For some, it may be their final game. Others can look ahead with confidence to the NFL. Those on the cusp know they have an opportunity today to showcase their skills and make an impression, which may allow them to continue to play the game they love. Welcome to Aloha Stadium in Honolulu, Hawaii for the 2008 Cornerstone Hula Bowl, featuring the East versus the West in the 62nd anniversary of this game. Hello again, everybody. Along with Kelly Stoffer, I'm Ron Thula. Kelly, there are really three types of players that are in this football game. Those that are going to be playing in the National Football League, those that are on the bubble, and those that just might be playing their last college game. Let's start with the guys today that we think we may be seeing on Sundays come next year.
Okay, we'll do just that and start on the defensive side. Jordan Dizon from University of Colorado, the Big 12 Defender of the Year. He's a tackling machine. He reads well, and he's not as fast as some guys like, but if you can read, you can add speed, and that's exactly what he does. And Josh Morgan on the offensive side, a tremendous looking receiver. If you drop a receiver, that's exactly what you want him to look like. Very physical at the line of scrimmage, but he's a better pass route runner than they expected him to be.
Now we talk about the second group, those that have to make a splash today, because we have scouts from every NFL team in attendance today. Who are those guys?
Well, I think the top of the list is Ernie Wilwright, the big, talented wide receiver from Minnesota. 6'5", 215 pounds. But the line on him is he doesn't show up all the time. He has instincts, he has ability, but he has to get it done today. This is the start of that evaluation. Kevin O'Connell is the next guy, San Diego State quarterback. Really like the kid, 6'6", 220 pounds. He has a great release, a great understanding. He's a mature kid, great quarterback.
Well, let's talk about some of the special stories, and one of them, Maurice Purify, who also needs to make a splash today.
Purify is that guy. He has the physical ability, but he has a reputation of kind of disappearing in games. We had him one against Kansas State where he totally dominated, but there are other games when he doesn't show up at all. He has to get consistent in his play.
Well, let's talk about the players that might be playing their last college football game. They don't think so, because they're outstanding players in their own right. We're talking about a guy from a small school that shattered all the rushing records this year.
I'm ready to talk about Danny Woodhead, the running back from Chadron State, Northwest Nebraska, 30 miles from where I grew up. Danny is that guy, if you can think of a tree trunk with legs, and he's the guy. He's been very productive, almost 8,000 yards rushing. Yes, it was Division II. Every time they tell Danny Woodhead he can't get it done, he gets it done at an extremely high level.
Well, we may even have some surprises today, and one may be a hometown favorite. Jason Rivers, one of the wide receivers, talked to the scouts of who's made the impression to them this week. It's Jason Rivers. We'll be keeping an eye on him. We'll step aside. We come back to Honolulu, Hawaii. We will have the Cornerstone Hula Bowl coming up on Versus.
There he is. Man, look at that buck. What a deer.
For more than 30 years, Jerry Johnston and the Texas Trophy Hunters Association have promoted hunting in the outdoors. You too can be a part of a proud tradition. Call today and take advantage of this special offer. First, a special rate of only $29.95, $5 off the regular price. You'll receive a full year's membership, plus the official members cap, TTHA knife, and 6 issues of the Journal of the Texas Trophy Hunters, all for just $29.95. TTHA in view, building the fellowship and future of the great outdoors.
Introducing the Cornerstone lineup of reloadable prepaid MasterCards. Choose an all-star player by calling 1-877-356-1319. Your first-round pick for 2007 is convenient and secure. Can manage purchases, eliminate money orders, eliminate check cashing fees, access your account online, and more. Apply for a Cornerstone Bank Card prepaid MasterCard now. Call 1-877-356-1319. Cornerstone Bank Cards are issued by MetaBank, pursuant to license from MasterCard International.
With my lung, there was no rehabbing. I had to blow up some balloons. That's my kind of rehab, drinking beer and blowing up balloons. With my shoulder, this is the first time that I've ever actually had to work at it, and I hate it. But I hate not having a chance to win worse.
Starting a new garden doesn't have to be backbreaking. Not when you have the Mantis Tiller Cultivator. It does all the hard work for you. The Mantis Tiller weighs only 20 pounds. It's easy for anyone to handle. The powerful 2-cycle engine spins the patented tines deep into the soil. They dig down, cutting through the hardest clay and tangled weeds. They're so tough, they're actually guaranteed never to break. Yet the Mantis maneuvers nimbly, even in the tightest places. Tilling, weeding, and cultivating have never been easier. Now you can get this amazing Mantis Tiller Cultivator at huge factory direct savings. Plus, we'll give you this border edger free. Use the Mantis for a full year. And if you're not delighted, return it for a prompt, no questions asked refund. Call now and we'll send you complete information. It's yours free with no obligation.
Call 1-800-455-2219. That's 1-800-455-2219. Call 1-800-455-2219 today.
The 2008 Cornerstone Hula Bowl on Versus is brought to you by New Balance and by Cornerstone.cc, who's processing your credit cards, and Hawaiian Airlines. Only one airline is Hawaiian.
Not too far away from Aloha Stadium, you can see the surf. There were surf warnings the last couple of days, 30 to 40 feet high. Those aren't quite that big. Head coach for the West is Mike Riley of Oregon State. He's standing by with Kelly Stoffer.
Thanks, Ron. I'm here with Mike Riley, head coach of the West today. Coach, it's not a typical in-season game. What was your approach during the week here in Hawaii?
Well, I think that it is important that these guys practice to form some sort of a team, get used to what we're doing offensively, defensively, special teams, so that they can represent themselves well. They can get some repetition at what they're doing, and so we try to put in somewhat of a limited offense and defense and try to make them as comfortable as they can be so they can play.
Good. Good luck today, and we'll talk to you hopefully soon. Across the way with Lewis Johnson with Ron Zook.
All right, Kelly, thanks a lot. Well, Coach, to you, what's the week been like with the kids as they prepare for this opportunity today?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's good for these guys. You know, a lot of pro scouts around, gives them an opportunity to show them what they do, and usually, obviously, that motivation keeps them going well. But it's, as I told them, it's like a job interview to go have fun and get after it.
Now, this is still football, so I know the competitive juices are flowing. What do you have in your back pocket to try and pull out a win for these today?
They put some rules in there, so you got to be a little bit careful.
Oh, no.
But, I think you always got to have something back here to keep them honest.
Which means you're not going to tell me. And I respect that. I understand that he's always a coach. Good luck today, and we appreciate it. Look forward to talking to you, all right? Okay, Ron.
All right, we have two very successful coaches in Coach Zook and Coach Riley, both having outstanding years. Of Coach Riley going to the Emerald Bowl, picking up a victory there, winning 7 of his last 8 games, and Coach Zook going to the Rose Bowl. And we are set. The East won the toss. They have deferred. West will be receiving to our left. Gerard Lawson set to return the kick from Oregon State. Art Carmody out of Louisville set to kick it away. Glad you're with us today. Great day to spend your Saturday afternoon in Hawaii. Carmody, the left footer. Lawson from about the 8. Looks for a little running room to the right side. Breaks and looking for a block. Over the 40, the 45 to the 48-yard line. Tyrell Johnson making the stop. Kelly, that's the way you want to do it, except in an all-star game, you don't spend a whole lot of time on special teams.
Really, and that's one of the areas of the games that you generally have big breakdowns, really. Big plays in both ways, because you don't practice a lot at all, but you certainly don't cover that aspect of the game.
And the West will take over on offense. 1st and 10 from their own 49-yard line. Kevin O'Connell is the quarterback, an outstanding player, as Kelly was talking about. Danny Woodhead actually gets the start. Also a player that Kelly was talking about. Little play action. This is what O'Connell does well. Throwing across his body. Pass is incomplete, intended for C.J. Hawthorne out of right here in Hawaii. But we saw the mobility right there of somebody like O'Connell, Kelly, who's 6'6".
Yeah, and that is really what people like, his mobility. He has a lot of rushing yards, but Ron, what they found out during the week is he's a much more polished passer than they really gave him credit for, and we'll see if that plays out today.
Well, 2nd down and 10. Ernie Wheelwright goes wide to the left side. He's a guy we want to keep our eye on. They try a little draw. Woodhead gets hit right at the line of scrimmage. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 10. J.T. Mapu with the stop out of Tennessee.
All right, Al.
They'll bring a third down. There's big JT, 6'4", 290 pounds from right here in Hawaii. He was a guy who was a starter back in 2003 for the Volunteers. Went on a mission trip 04-05, came back, ended up really playing a backup role, but he did finish with 22 tackles this season. Rivers and Hawthorne wide to the left, third down and 10. More on the near side. O'Connell steps up in the pocket, nice job. Straddles the line of scrimmage, throws it incomplete. His receiver fell down, and that was C.J. Hawthorne. Good job, though, or check that, Jason Rivers. Good job eluding the rush, though, by O'Connell.
And that's what O'Connell really has the ability to do, is buy time in the pocket, and he's going to have to learn. He did a good job of keeping his eyes down the field, but you also, in the NFL, you're not going to be able to run like you did in college, so you have to get very efficient at throwing that ball on the move.
And Waylon Prather set to kick it away out of San Jose State. And this is a very short kick. It'll be down to about the 19, still rolling. About the 19-yard line. 31 yards on the kick, and there's a...
Good job, good job. It's way to play, it's way to play. Hey, did we win the toss or lose the toss?
We won it and deferred.
We deferred. You guys made that.
You didn't tell us.
No, I thought the Jags was going to tell you guys. That's all right, that's all right. Good job.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I think he's talking about Coach Jeff Jagosinski from Boston College, who also had an outstanding year, and nobody told him what to take.
Yeah, he was talking to the linebacker from Nebraska there, Corey McKeon, and you have to have players set you straight once in a while.
Here's Paul Smith from Tulsa. His first pass is going to be incomplete. Intended for Marcus Fitzgerald, the younger brother of Larry Fitzgerald. We get a good look at Paul Smith, an outstanding career at Tulsa, but what a great year he had. Over 5,000 yards. Kelly, I don't care who you play for. That's a lot of yards.
Yeah, that's a lot of yards out in the parking lot for about 10 years. But Paul Smith is that guy. He doesn't have the measurables in terms of size and not necessarily arm strength as well, but he manages the game. He's a playmaker, and he's a very mature kid.
He's a coach's son. Throw it out on the flat pass is complete to Darryl Strong. Gets up to about the 24-yard line. Scott Derry out of University of Texas making the stop. You know, picking up on Paul Smith, his dad Ron, a high school coach for 30 years, very successful in the state of Oklahoma. And he said, listen, he goes, my son is a leader, he's confident, and he goes, I know you're thinking I'm a dad, but I'm also a coach, and I understand his intangibles. He's also been invited to another All-Star game coming up next week.
Yeah, and these All-Star games are very important, and there's a saying that says you really can't harm yourself in an All-Star game, but you certainly can help yourself, and I think Paul Smith is getting that opportunity, not only today, but next week in the Shrine game as well.
So Andre Callender now joins him in the backfield, third down and 6. Paul Raymond in motion. Throwing the out pattern just high over the head of Marcus Fitzgerald. Paul Smith also told us that he comes to Hawaii, catches a little cold. Doesn't help matters much.
Yeah.
So each side has had a possession. Each side is going to have to kick it away.
4.
Back up now, man. You got to stay in it. You got to stay behind, off the white. Stay off the white.
As you can tell, we'll have both coaches, Mike. Brett Kern set to kick it away. Brian Witherspoon standing at his 35-yard line. Witherspoon, one of the outstanding stories here, out of Stillman College in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Wobbly kick. And he's going to let it run out of bounds at about the 30-yard line, and that's where the West will take over again for their second possession. 12:44 left to play in the first quarter. We are scoreless from Honolulu.
Since the publication of Family Driven Faith, I've received hundreds of emails and letters. The most fascinating of those have come from pastors, like this one who writes, Dear Dr. Bauckham, in short, your book Family Driven Faith has transformed my life and the life of my family. One pastor writes, I believe that everyone who has kids, might have kids, is married, or one day will be married, needs to read this book. Family Driven Faith is more than just a book. It's a revolutionary tool bringing about cultural transformation, one home at a time.
When your state rivals and defending conference champs invade your turf, the only thing to say is, not in my house. The Mountain West's ultimate grudge match is on. BYU, Utah versus College Hoops, next Saturday, 4 Eastern.
Here's head coach Mike Riley, 7 years at Oregon State. Started this year at 2-3, won 7 of his last 8 to finish 9-4, and as we mentioned, beat Maryland in the Emerald Bowl. Let's listen to him. We have great access to not only the coaches, they're both Mike, but also the players. We'll be able to interview them during the game. Marcus Thomas getting his first carry, and he breaks over and fumbles the football, and the East has it.
Dang it. All right, defense, let's go.
Recovered by Nakamura.
Take care of the football now. Let's go.
Out of Cincinnati, so Mike Riley gets a pretty good run from Thomas, who coughs it up.
Yeah, Thomas is tremendously talented, a big running back with some good straight ahead speed, but the first responsibility of any running back, anyone who handles the football, is you have to take care of the rock, and Marcus Thomas did not do it on that play.
And so now the East with good field position, our first turnover of the ball game.
And what you heard out of Coach Riley right there, dang it, that's about as bad as it gets with that man.
You got that right. Jabari Arthur now goes wide to the right. Paul Smith from Tulsa, still in a quarterback. Kind of has to dump it off. He does. Pass is complete to Calvin McRae. He's inside the 30-yard line. They'll mark him out at about the 26-yard line. Nice job by McRae from Ohio University. Of course, the Ohio Bobcats, coached by Frankie Solich, former Nebraska head coach. Pick up a 14 on the play.
Calvin McRae has been a very, very productive running back. And he has to learn those type of things right there. Route running against linebackers, winning man-on-man situations. And he did a nice job on that play. Just an underneath route. He breaks it outside and picks up a first down.
Good field position. Paul Smith again under center. Richie Campbell in the backfield behind him. One man in motion. 5-step drop, looking to set up the screen, and they've got the screen going to Campbell. Oh, he's detonated at the 30-yard line by Jordan Dizon from Colorado. And another great defender we saw just a few moments ago standing by with Lewis Johnson. Lewis.
You've got Angela Craig down here who created the fumble. I'm still trying to get over that last hit. My goodness. Tell me about the hit that you made to give the ball back to you guys.
It was just one of those plays where I didn't give up on chasing the ball and actually try to make a play.
What's the week meant to you to be able to show your wares in front of the scouts, and what do you hope your dream is for the NFL?
Just to go out there and show what I can do and make a pro team and do the best I can to help them win the championship.
All right, I bet if he gets another one of those, he'll get some attention, Ron.
I think you're right. Little sprint draw there to McRae again. This time he barrels down to the 25-yard line. Pick up about 5.5 on the play.
All right, here we go.
Make that the 20-yard line.
There goes our nickel defense.
You got a little nickel going.
No. Just by plays.
I think he was joking there, Kelly.
I think that is against the rules, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no blitzing.
No blitzing, no specialty packages, no special defenses. But it's only a matter of time before those rules are broken in some form. I guarantee you that.
Really. 3rd down and 4 now for the East. At the 20-yard line. Quick 3-step drop. Nice look in pattern. Completed. Inside the 5 to the 3 to the 2. Jabari Arthur. They're going to mark him down at the 1-yard line. Nice job by Paul Smith reading that and able to get it into Arthur out of Akron.
And what Paul Smith is doing is just reading the single guy off to that side, Jabari Arthur, running a slant route. And Jabari Arthur's been one of those guys, too, here this week at 6'4", 225 pounds. They said he has great size, obviously, great hands, but he's a very good route runner, and that was a very good route on that play.
The first zip to play in the Hula Bowl since Jamie Reeder in 1997. 1st and goal. Nice job by the West defense, stacking up McRae. Get some kudos from their coach. That's who you're hearing now, Mike Riley. Thomas Williams on the stop out of USC.
And Coach Riley, I just want to put this out in the open. He told me earlier this week that
and a tight end to the flat.
He planned on doing as little coaching as possible, more of an administrative coach, which means that he's enjoying the lifestyle over here in Hawaii.
Who wouldn't? Second down and goal. Campbell now behind Smith. This drive coming after the turnover. Smith tries to go to the left side. He sneaks it in. Touchdown. Paul Smith from Owasso, Oklahoma, and the Tulsa Golden Hurricane with the first score of the 2008 Hula Bowl.
And Ron, regardless of what the setting is and what games are being played, you can't turn the ball over. Turnovers generally lead to points like we see on this drive right here.
Nice job. The big play, of course, that 19-yard pass completion to Arthur from Paul Smith. Gives the kudos. And the extra point. Put away, and it is good. So the East takes a 7-0 lead. They're pretty good on the field, but can they do this? I bet you they're not going to try.
At Franklin Springs Family Media, our mission is clear. We make films for the purpose of strengthening, entertaining, and encouraging families. A Journey Home, the award-winning story of one dad's triumphant stand for his family, is a treasured addition to DVD libraries in homes around the world. Log on to franklinsprings.com for films that will further a hopeful vision for your family.
You wouldn't take your family into an adult video store. So why book a hotel room selling pay-per-view hardcore pornography, especially when you have a choice? CleanHotels.com, your source for family-friendly accommodations. CleanHotels.com, the family choice.
Time stands still, and you're just, you want to get to your feet and keep moving, no matter what direction. Just don't lay there. If there's nowhere to go, you know where to run, just wad up in the ball and just pray everything's gonna be all right.
That's fine. I was just trying to get to you quick.
Paul Smith engineering the drive, following the turnover, and the East leads the West 7-0. Along with Lewis Johnson, Kelly Stauffer, I'm Ron Thulin, welcoming you to Honolulu, Hawaii. Glad you're with us today. Brian Witherspoon standing back at his own 7-yard line out of Stillman College. Averaged over 22 yards a return this year. We'll be talking more about him throughout the afternoon. Mark Carmody again. Line drive kick. Witherspoon will take it at the 5-yard line. Little fancy stuff. A little reverse to Hawthorne, but he is bottled up. Nice job by the East defensively. He stopped at the 17-yard line. Lewis Johnson standing by with a brother of somebody who's pretty famous in his own right.
Absolutely. Down here signing autographs, taking pictures. Ray Lewis is here from the Baltimore Ravens supporting his younger brother, Keon Lattimore. First of all, Ray, what's it like to be here on a personal note to watch your younger brother with a shot to get to where you are?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, it's just truly a true blessing from God, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, because I've truly just watched him grow as a man. And now to be here, you know, to see God with the ability to have not just one of my mother's sons playing NFL, but both. You know, it's brought tears to my eyes almost every night just watching him, because this is my baby, you know, and I'm watching my baby grow up to be a man now, so it's a good thing.
I see you have the camera. Keon, you told me about the workouts in high school through college. He's been preparing you really for this moment, hasn't he, for a long time?
Oh, for a long time, you know, ever since I was in high school, like I told you, you know, we go at it hard during the season and also in the off season, you know. Now it's just truly a blessing, like my brother said, to be at this point, so I really thank God for everything.
I know you got to get back out there and get ready. Ray, one more question for you. How do you prepare for the mental side of the game that you have to play, because that is surely as big of an aspect as the physical side.
Well, you know, that's the thing I kind of asked him. I kind of asked him straight up, you know, do you just want to be good in this league or you want to be great in this league? Because if you want to be great in this league, that means you have to go way far beyond, you know, whatever your expectations.
It's a good thing we got out of the way there, big fella. That's a heck of a catch, but go ahead.
My shoes today. No, but you know, that's the part that I'm trying to get him to, that separates good from great. You know, you can easily ask yourself a serious question, you know, why am I here? What do I really want to do? And he has the ability to go do some real things if he studies the game the way he needs to study it and prepare and truly, you know, attack it as a business.
Well, look, enjoy, take some more pictures, and golly, I got to believe that Keon's going to have a great chance to make it if he takes some more advice from this man. Huh, Ron?
Thank you, baby.
All right.
Absolutely, Lewis. And in fact, if C.J. Hawthorne, when he made that catch, if you'd have looked up and saw Ray Lewis staring him in the eyes, Kelly, he probably would have dropped the ball. Said, oh, my goodness, there's a Pro Bowler standing in front of me. Going to take my head off.
I didn't know he was playing in the game.
Oh, that was, I'll tell you, that C.J. Hawthorne probably said, yeah, I caught one in front of Lewis. He isn't that good.
Hey, as I was listening to Lewis go ahead, Lewis.
Right, I thought I saw Ray looking around for a helmet or something. He saw that contact, and he kind of started to salivate.
Yeah, he mentioned he was looking for his shoes.
Exactly.
And second down, Marcus Thomas in the backfield. O'Connell tries to throw the little screen pass. There was nobody there. We talked about that catch by C.J. Hawthorne just a moment ago. Here it is again. It's a nice throw, though, by O'Connell. Watch this. And whoop. Let's see the reaction. All of a sudden, he goes, never turn your back to the field. Oh, yeah.
There it is right there.
Lewis is a track guy, though. He's got that good first step.
Well, I tell you what, I learned early, never turn your back to the field, and I sure as heck wasn't let that Pro Bowler get clipped, you know, in the knees.
Yeah, notice how you hit behind him.
Yeah.
Adam Bishop in motion. Third down and 4. O'Connell showing his mobility. He's got some running room. Has the first down, and he gets into East territory. Anthony Hope coming up to make the stop out of Cincinnati.
We talked before about O'Connell. That's what he brings to the table.
Keep it going now. Out of the way, CJ.
That's as much coaching as Coach Riley's going to give you today. There you go. Keep it going. But O'Connell is that guy. He's very mobile, but he has to learn to use his mobility at this next level. He's seen that this week. You don't always have green grass to run on when you're playing with a bunch of fast players, not just one or two.
You mentioned he's a big guy at 6'6". 225. Pass to the flat, difficult pass. They're going to say it is caught at the 45-yard line by Adam Bishop.
Don't worry about it. You see that? Robert, that a baby way to run it. Man, oh man, he really did a nice job attacking there. Did you see it? Wow. Wow.
TC Ostrander, another quarterback from Stanford, expected to get in the ball game along with Alex Brink from Washington State. Those are the 3 quarterbacks for the West. Second down.
Pretty good.
We'll call it about 7. Robert Jordan wide to the left, the outstanding receiver from Cal. Ernie Wheelwright on the near side.
And you're going to get one-on-one at the top, Kevin.
O'Connell looking for the deep. And again, he short hops it. Wasn't sure about the route on that. Robert Jordan, the intended receiver.
And Ron, you heard from Coach Riley exactly that read.
That was awfully
they put
deep,
a couple of receivers off to the right, and they want the quarterback to go to the left when it's one-on-one. And that's where O'Connell went. He just didn't throw the right ball because you're right, Ron. A little hesitation. You haven't had a lot of time to throw to these receivers and get on the same page, and he wasn't quite sure.
Third down and 7. Still in the opening quarter, East leading the West, 7-0. Just over 7:40 to play. They bring 5. O'Connell showing the mobility again, throwing across his body. Pass is complete inside the 40, down to the 38-yard line. Adam Bishop on the reception.
We've already seen this a couple of times. O'Connell buying time. Very nice feet. He actually is very fast. I don't know what his 40 time is specifically, but enough to get outside the pocket. He's a big kid. Does a nice job of keeping his head down the field and finding Adam Bishop for that first down. But that's what a quarterback has to do. Buy some extra time, but you have to make the most of it, which means keep your focus down the field and try to find the open guy.
Now Evan Moore goes wide to the right, or wide to the left. Jason Rivers in the slot. That's It's a first down for the West. Let's try the running game. East is going to cover this up in a big way. That's going to be a loss of 2 on the play. A couple of guys led the charge on that one. JT Mapu was there. Also Corey McKeon, the outstanding linebacker from Nebraska. You know, I like McKeon. You and I watched him play this year. This is a guy whose motor, he's kind of like Scott Derry and Jordan Dizon. The motor keeps running all the time. Yeah,
and he has very good instincts as well. He has what they call a closing burst as well. He knows how to close on the ball and make a nice play.
Well, Danny Woodhead is back in from Chadron State. Little play fake. Here comes the rush. O'Connell avoids it. Looking for some running room. Nice hesitation. Inside the 35, close to the 30-yard line. They'll mark him out at the 32.
Catch him.
You can hear Coach Zook saying, catch him, don't let him run out.
Yeah, that's easy to say from the sideline, but right there, he's still looking downfield, avoids the rush, and then here you become a ball carrier. And that's where I think Kevin O'Connell is going to find value in the NFL. He's a big kid, but he's a lot more mobile than people maybe give him credit for. Understand, and Coach Zook was talking about catching him, but it's easier said than done.
I think he was talking about catching him going out before he ran into the bench.
Oh, you're right. You're exactly right.
3rd down and 4 now for the West. Their first good drive of the afternoon, trailing 7-0. Evan Moore in motion. O'Connell just dumps it off to Danny Woodhead, a little bit short. Pass is incomplete.
Should have been our Mike Backer. Mike Backer.
4th down and 4. I think they're going to go for it.
Why not?
Mike Sanford running the offense for this West team. Of course, the head coach at UNLV. Being assisted by Todd Berry, also at UNLV. Danny Langsdorf, coaching the wide receivers. He's from Oregon State. And Mike Cavanaugh, an offensive line coach from Oregon State, actually coached here in Hawaii for us.
I took the day off today.
Good for you.
Yeah, I let our coordinator do it. No, he's doing it right there. No.
On 4th down, O'Connell looking, pass is tipped, incomplete. Nice job defensively. It was intended for Brent Miller.
Good play. Grant, good job. Nice play. Here we go.
And we'll have a change of possession. The East will take over here in quarter number 1. We'll be back after this.
It's not hard to know what to do with sons to toughen them up for manhood. But what about the father-daughter relationship? Most dads don't know how to help their girls between their childhood and marriage. But in this new documentary, you can meet 5 dads who know exactly how to love and train their daughters. For your family's sake and your daughter's sake, go to returnofthedaughters.com. Check it out.
Ever wonder why, if the money-making plans you've heard so much about are really so good, why do they make you pay hundreds and thousands of dollars up front? Mary Gersten, once a desperate single mom of 4, stumbles onto the CMPS money-making secret and shocks the world when she reveals these secrets absolutely free. That's right. For a limited time, you can get Mary's little-known 45-day secret shortcut report in audio that shows you how to put as much as $300 royalties per day in your pocket for free. Just log on to www.guaranteedpayincrease.com and request your free report in audio called the 24-Hour Web Cache Secret and discover how this jealously guarded secret can help you quickly and easily make money from the comfort of your kitchen table. Warning! This offer is strictly limited and can be withdrawn at any time. Log on to www.guaranteedpayincrease.com right now and discover Mary's CMPS secret and why it's almost a license to print money.
The 24-hour webcast secret could eliminate all your roadblocks to success forever. Take advantage of this free offer right now.
Nice job defensively by the East, stopping the West on 4th down. They take over. Let's listen in. All right. East takes over, 1st and 10, their own 32-yard line.
Cheek. I love it. It's what likes to happen.
Coach Jagodzinski standing by Coach Zook. Paul Smith remains at quarterback. On 1st down, straight drop, looking for a little over the middle. Got it. Pass is complete up to the 40 to the 42-yard line to Darryl Strong out of Pitt. 3-year starter for Dave Wanstead. Had 29 receptions this year. He's another big target at 6'5", 265 pounds. No huddle offense. Paul Smith quickly going to the line. That was good enough for a first down. See the numbers on him. 48 yards already, 5 of 8. On first down from about the 42. On the ground. Jalen Parmalee from the Toledo Rockets. Standing by now with Coach Riley is Kelly. Kelly, what's he got to say?
Hey, Coach Riley, you had a 4th down play there, and I know you're not calling the plays today. You turned it over to one of your assistant coaches, Danny Langsdorf. What did you think of his call?
Oh, I think it was a good call. I think it was a good call. This is a good day to do that right now. Yeah, I don't know if we make that same call. We might kick the field goal if we were back in Corvallis.
Yeah. Tell me about your approach this week. What have you seen with the players in terms of attitude and them wanting to accomplish something here this week?
I think that's been the most impressive part as I've looked at it is their eagerness to practice, their enthusiasm for doing well. And, you know, I don't know. We're just very fortunate, but it seems to have a great group of guys involved in this game. I've really enjoyed them. It's been fun to coach them, and I think their intentions are all good.
Yeah, good. Appreciate your time. We'll talk to you again soon.
Back
to you, Ron.
All right, thanks, Kelly. We have an injured player down on the field, and that's something you do not want to see in an all-star game. It's a member of the East squad. Looks like Donald Thomas out of Connecticut, from West Haven, Connecticut, and he is up, and that's good news. Gingerly walking off. He's a big guy at 6'3", 300 pounds, holding down that right guard spot. Second down, we'll call it 9 now for the East, leading 7-0. Once again, they went on a drive following the turnover by the West. Paul Smith to Jabari Arthur covering 19 yards, the big play. From the 43. High snap, Smith pulls it down, rifles on the deep out, pass is incomplete, intended for Paul Raymond out of Brown University.
Punt team!
Now they're calling for the punt team, but it's only 3rd down. 3rd down and 9. Coach Zook looking for his punter.
Where's my punter? You can never count on those punters to be where they're supposed to be.
Especially in an all-star game.
Yeah, in an all-star game, I think what Coach Zook is, he's getting his punt team ready because sometimes it takes time. You don't have time to work on that aspect of the game here in an all-star setting like this.
Big play.
Trying to find Brett Kern. There he is. Come on, Brett. Big 3rd down play for the East. Smith, another deep out, and the pass is incomplete. Pass was intended for Bruce Hocker.
Right. Cover. Flyers go red right. Here we go. Right.
And it was that pattern that was run by Hocker, Kelly. It looked like he made a very late break because Smith kind of threw it, and Hocker wasn't even looking yet.
Yeah, and I think that actually is something that Hocker has learned this week is he's not a real polished route runner, and that's something that he's going to have to work on. Physically, he seems like he has all the skills, all the tools. He's a big guy, but he needs to get more polished in that route running area.
That's what a lot of the scouts were really determining this week. Brett Kern out of the Toledo Rockets with a nice kick inside the 15-yard line. Chard Lawson with the catch. Tonight, the professional bull riders head to New England for the 2008 Worcester Classic, the PBA on Versus. Best cowboys and the bulls who want to wreck them. It all starts tonight, 9:30 Eastern, only on Versus. So they'll take over 1st and 10 from their own 14-yard line. And we've got a new quarterback. TC Ostrander's checked in from Stanford. 6'3", 215 pounds. One head, no place to go. Gets stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. TC's a guy, though, Kelly. He's got a strong arm, but he's had a couple of injury problems throughout his career, including a seizure right before the week before the USC game this season.
Yeah, we were in there right after that, and it was a horrific time. They didn't exactly know what was happening, and it left the door open for Tavita Pritchard, came in that big upset against USC. But TC has the ability. He's a solid guy. He obviously is a smart guy, or he wouldn't be at Stanford to begin with. As far as overall skills, he's adequate, but he's going to have to prove himself at the next level.
And the ball is loose, and there's a scramble. And it looks like the East may have their second fumble recovery, and they do.
And it's little things like that, Ron, when TC that time just did not secure the football. He had an edge rusher coming to his backside, and he just didn't take care of the ball. Right there, you have to understand, do you feel it? Actually, it was in the front side and came around the backside, but you have to hang on to that football. That's your responsibility in that situation, especially in a backed-up situation like TC was right there.
Well, JT Mapu got the forced fumble. Rob Jackson recovered it from Kansas State. Ron Zook's team is in tall cotton right now. First and goal from about the 6. Smith can take advantage of it again. Nice rollout, looking for his receiver. Pulls up, tucks it, takes a hit, leans into the end zone. Are they going to call it? Yes, touchdown, Paul Smith.
There we go, let's go, let's go. Field goal, extra
Paul
point.
Smith's second touchdown of the afternoon.
Good job,
yeah, over 5,000 yards passing, and he has 2 rushing touchdowns on the day. Who would figure that? But this is where his understanding of the game comes into play. What does your team need? Get what you can get, and then get down. And right there, he gets into the end zone. If your size isn't needed in that situation, Ron, when is it needed?
Yeah.
Because he's a big enough quarterback. He can find throwing lanes. Obviously, he knows the game. And then he can do stuff like that. You know, there's going to be someone that wants his kid on his team.
Art Carmody for the extra point, only missed 2 extra points in his career. 253 at 255. And that is good. Let's check in with Lewis Johnson. Lewis, give us an update on Donald Thomas and his injury.
Yeah, the doctors and trainers have been looking at him, Ron, and they gave him some testing, kind of backpedaling side to side. I think he's still got some pain in that right knee. He said he was trying to hold up a linebacker and took a shot to the outside of the right knee. But Thomas has told the trainers that he can go back in, and based on what he's done here in terms of the testing, they said he's all right to go back in, so he's cleared and he's going to give it a try.
That's good news.
Yep. You'll come this far to have something like that happen.
That's right. You know, Kelly, okay, you're down 14-0 now. Do coaches start coaching, if I can use a better, I can't figure out a better word, at this point of the game? Okay, we're down. No coach wants to lose this game.
No, I don't really think you're going to get a whole lot different than you're getting from Coach Riley right there. I think it's just a matter of his team hanging on to the football, and you continue to stress that. But in terms of strategies, it's not going to change. Guys are here to highlight their skills. Everyone's going to play, and they're going to play really the same amount of reps at the same time as they would whether you're up by 4 or down by 4.
And there's Gerard Lawson standing back out of Las Vegas, Nevada, and Oregon State, averaged over 22 yards a return this year. Carmody will kick it off again out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Got a pretty strong leg, although we haven't seen it yet today. Lawson will return this from about the 5. Looks to go to the left side. He's got a little wall forming, breaks open. Can he take it all the way? No, he's going to be pulled down at the 43-yard line. Nice return by Lawson. His longest this year at Oregon State was 56. This goes for 52. Let's check in with Lewis with Paul Smith.
Yeah, he's down here getting a little bit of water and relaxing after that touchdown. Take me back to the score. The naked, I believe it was, right?
Yes, sir. Naked into the boundary. I think a guy came open late. I had already committed to run it, so that's kind of what they've said all week. Just if it's there, take it.
Paul, what's your week been like? I know this has been a big deal for you. Your folks have been here, and you're beginning to see that what the possibilities might be for you, right?
Right, absolutely. It's been a fun week. You know, that's what I've heard from anybody I've talked to. Enjoy this week. It's going to fly by, so I'm trying to enjoy it and take care of that football.
And as you play on the field, what kind of skill set are you trying to sell to these scouts out here? Oh, I better stop. We got a turnover, my man.
Angelo Craig is the one who forced it. And again, TC Ostrander with his second fumble, but luckily the West gets it back. I don't think he saw him coming from the backside. No. Lewis, go back to Paul. Lewis?
Well, as I was asking you before, you know, what's your skill set? What are you trying to sell to the NFL? What do you want them to see out of you here?
I just feel like some of my positives, take care of the football, managing the game, and maybe I don't look the part compared to some of these guys out here today, but you know, find a way to win the football game, and like I said, take care of the football, and a lot of people want that.
All right, good luck out here, huh?
Thanks, sir.
Okay, Ron.
Let me tell you about his week, gentlemen. Last week, of course, they played in the GMAC Bowl and they won. He leaves, gets back 4:45 in the morning to Tulsa on Monday, has a 6:30 flight to Hawaii. He leaves tomorrow, has to go to Houston. He's going to get a few frequent flyer miles, gentlemen.
Yeah, it's time to get used to it.
Yeah.
He's auditioning, and so I guarantee you that Paul Smith's of that mindset that whatever it takes to get himself in front of the most people in games like this to highlight his talent and skills versus the best in the country, and that's what he's looking forward to.
Third down and 16. Ostrander airing it out, going deep. Pass is knocked down. Intended for Jason Rivers, but Justin McKinney doing a nice job on the coverage out of Kansas State.
Yeah, Justin McKinney is known more for his hard hitting. He does have speed. He's also good in the return game. But this is the question about Justin McKinney. Can he cover the big receiver on the line of scrimmage and downfield? And he plays the ball in the air very well, and then he's good at celebrating. He's getting used to that. These college players are going to be turned loose. Pretty much anything goes at that next level.
Waylon Prather set to kick it away. Reggie Campbell from the Naval Academy standing at his 10. He's going to call for the fair catch right at the 20-yard line. Kick only covers 27 yards. And that's where the East will take over, leading 14-0.
Great job.
2:24 left to play in this opening quarter. Let's listen into the coaches.
Great job. Great job. Great job. Huh? Tackle. Oh, that was pass interference offensive over there. Here we go.
Trying to get the call, Kelly. Always trying to get the call.
Coach Zook, he's a classic, that's for sure.
What a great year he had, too.
Wow.
I'm telling you, going 9-4, most wins for his team since 2001.
Way to go!
Alvin McRae stacked up by Michael Lafael out of Hawaii from the defensive tackle spot. He beat 2 top 5 teams this year, 3-2 versus ranked teams. You know, and Coach Zook is one of the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet. And he was telling me, I said, you know, how's recruiting going? He's not resting on his laurels, Kelly. They're still grinding it out on recruiting.
You're probably looking at the best recruiter in all the land right there in that man. You remember that championship team that Urban Meyer had at Florida? Most of those guys were brought there by Ron Zook, and that was the question about Coach Zook. You can get the players, but can you coach them up to win? And I think he answered that with an affirmative this year.
That was a pretty good throw by Smith, intended for Marcus Fitzgerald, who went with a one-handed try reception, didn't get it. But I think we saw Paul Smith's arm strength there, because a lot of people have questioned his arm strength. I tell you, Kelly, you and I have watched him the last 3 days. I don't question this young man's arm strength. He's got some zip on the ball.
Yeah, he not only has zip on the ball, Ron, but he also has the ability to anticipate receivers. And also he understands the game well enough where he goes to the right guy most of the time, and he goes there in time. And that's what a quarterback has to do. You can throw it through a brick wall, but if you don't know who you need to throw it to, then it really doesn't matter.
On 3rd down and 11. Smith looking over the middle, has a man, tipped, almost intercepted, incomplete. Looked like Dominic Patrick on the coverage.
Hey, Dom,
out of Arizona.
Had a way to play ball. That's it.
Gets kudos from Mike Riley, a team that he tormented while playing for Coach Stoops in Arizona.
That's what's interesting in this setting is guys like Coach Riley get to meet a lot of players that they've played against and he's coached against, but now he gets to coach with them. And Dominic Patrick is one of those guys, a free safety from Arizona that has a lot to prove as well. The word is adequate. He seems to have adequate size, adequate speed, but can he show just a little bit more than that to get an opportunity at the next level?
Well, now Myron Newberry standing on his own 36-yard line, ready to receive the punt. Brett Kern standing on his 6-yard line. And again, not a very good kick off the side of the foot. Kickers are having a problem today, Kelly. There's kind of a trend here.
Kern was trying to do a directional thing on that. on that particular punt. We watched him during the week, and he was absolutely bombing the football, but it's when you can turn those guys loose and just say, how far can you punt it? But when you start to mess with them a little bit and have them do directional stuff, sometimes the timing and the follow-through just isn't the same.
Well, here's a guy that averaged over 46 yards a kick this year. For his career, over 42 yards. He was a semifinalist for the Ray Guy Award, so you knew he had some ability, but all the kickers seem to be struggling right now. West, though, with good field position in East territory. Try the run game again. Not much going on. Maybe a pickup of 3 on the play. As we close into 1 minute left in the quarter.
Stay on one of them, Ernie.
Marcus Thomas on the carry.
Well, Coach Riley is talking about there. Ernie is Ernie Wilwright, one of the wide receivers, trying to block downfield. Stay on one of them. If you try to do too much, then you don't block anyone well, and those guys coming up from the secondary and run support. So Riley's saying just block one of them would be good enough for us.
What is this, Danny?
Brings up a 2nd down and 6. Strander still in the quarterback. 3-step drop, goes for the deep out, way overthrown.
Third down.
Pass was intended for Robert Jordan from Cal, so we had a Stanford guy thrown to a Cal guy. There's something wrong with that, Kelly. There's something wrong with that.
That's just not right.
No.
On good coverage is the defensive back from Pittsburgh, Kennard Cox. He's had a good week here, too. He's a very physical, more of a type, kind of a cover 2 type corner that has to play around the line of scrimmage. But that time he had excellent coverage.
He's one of the corners that the scouts have been intrigued by because he's 6'1", 195. A 2-year starter, and he's a former quarterback.
Yeah, you need to look at those guys that are former quarterbacks, I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. Now Ernie Wheelwright goes wide to the left. 3rd down, still 6 to go. Ostrander looking left, scrambling. Now throwing across his body, almost picked off at the 22-yard line by Kennard Cox. We were just talking about it. What a great break on the football by Cox.
This is a great example of what this game is about. As Cox is known as a physical guy that can run support, play around the line of scrimmage, but can he cover? 2 good plays in a row where he's broke on the football, read the route, stayed with it, and made a play on the ball.
4th down and 6, and they're going to go for it again. You see the numbers on Cox for the season. They're 0 for 1 on 4th down already.
And Coach Riley was already calling into question his coordinator, Danny Langsdorff, for that first call. We'll see who he dials up here.
3rd down and 6, pass is incomplete. Anthony Hoke on the coverage, Ernie Wheelwright the intended receiver, and again, Ron Zook's staff, nice job. They stop on 4th down. I think he's getting into this, Kelly. You get that feeling?
It doesn't take long for Coach Zook to get into it, I guarantee you.
I want to see these coaches wear this attire, though, next fall, don't you?
What they think? I don't think that's allowed.
I didn't no ACL or MCL or anything like that. It just, I was I was blocking in
Well, you heard him talking to Donald Thomas. No ACL, no MCL problem. That's good.
Yeah, that's the good news.
We're not sure if he's going to return. We've got 23 seconds left here in the opening quarter. 14-0, the East leading, both touchdowns as a result of turnovers by the West. We've got a new quarterback. Bernard Morris from Marshall has checked in. 6'4", 211 pounds. Nice throw into the flat. Pass is complete to Josh Morgan out of Virginia Tech. Jacob Patek on the coverage. You and I were watching Bernard Morris on Thursday. A 3-year starter. He's a former walk-on, but he still looked a little raw to you, didn't he?
Yeah, and I think it's when you go up in talent and you're surrounded by guys that play at a high level. What I saw is he didn't really have the anticipation to get the ball out on time. And when you don't get the ball out on time with receivers, running back defensive backs are going to break on the ball and make plays, and he's understanding that this week.
Well, he's going to have a chance to start quarter number 2 because quarter number 1 is now in the books for the 2008 Cornerstone Hula Bowl. We got all the Hawaiian flavor here. The surf, the sand, and some pretty good football. Second quarter straight ahead.
President might have passed unnoticed by history, except for an incident that left its mark on him and a nation. When this 13-year-old POW refused to shine a redcoat officer's boots, the officer's saber left a lifelong scar and a hatred for all things British. 30 years later at the Battle of New Orleans, Andrew Jackson led a ragtag American army to defeat the most powerful fighting force in the world. That's his story. What's yours? Tell us at circahistory.com.
Introducing the Cornerstone lineup of reloadable prepaid MasterCards. Choose an all-star player by calling 1-877-356-1319. Your first-round pick for 2007 is convenient and secure. Can manage purchases, eliminate money orders, eliminate check cashing fees, access your account online, and more. Apply for a Cornerstone Bank Card prepaid MasterCard now. Call 1-877-356-1319. Cornerstone Bank Cards are issued by MetaBank pursuant to license from MasterCard International.
An ex-porn star.
And I was doing very hard sex acts I swore I'd never do.
A platinum-selling rock star.
Pornography, alcohol, drugs, I was just out of my mind.
The former heavyweight champion of the world and sex addict turned sex doctor.
Within the next 48 hours, I'm having sex.
What do all these people have in common? One life-altering experience. Daystar. Experience it. Log on to daystar.com for local listings.
The Mountain West Ultimate Grudge match is on. BYU, Utah versus College Hoops next Saturday, 4 Eastern.
2 Paul Smith touchdowns have given the East a 14-0 lead as we start quarter number 2, and this is one of the sites that's very prevalent here in Hawaii. Surfboards in the whole surf shop, and back on the field. East has 2nd down, 7 to go. Ball is on the 44-yard line. Bernard Morris at quarterback. Hands it off left side, picking up a couple, getting down to about the 47-yard line. Parmalee in the coverage. Lewis, you're standing by with Donald Thomas. What's the update on his injury?
Well, we're going to talk to him, Ron, and it's a thing you don't want to see at an all-star game. A guy come here and have an injury like this. You think it's serious, Donald? What do you know right now?
I hope it's not too serious right now. I mean, running back rolled up on me from the back, so I mean, you know, felt some pain. I mean, it's hurting pretty bad a little bit, so. I mean, we got to see. I just want to take, proper precautionary, measures to make sure I don't, injure it any further than what it is.
Now, this week is not the only important week. Aren't you headed to the East-West game next week also?
Yeah, I'm actually leaving tonight to head to Houston. So, see how it feels. Hopefully, I'll be able to go next week for the game.
All right. Well, good luck with that, okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right, Ron.
Let's hope it's okay. Just what you want, too, Lewis and Kelly. You want to be have your knee all banged up, and you got an 8-hour, 9-hour flight ahead of you. Pass was complete by Reggie Campbell, by the way, to Reggie Campbell out of the Naval Academy. What a great story this young man is. Had an outstanding game versus Notre Dame, which broke that 43 game losing streak to the Irish. 1st down and 10, ball at about the 48-yard line. Parmalee again, left side, got another 1st down inside the 35-yard line. They'll mark him out at about the 34. Nice hit, though, by Dominic Patrick out of Arizona. Kelly standing by with one of the other quarterbacks. Kelly.
Yeah, I'm here with Kevin O'Connell. He played that first quarter. Kevin, what did you think of the way that played out?
Ball to the 34-yard line.
Hey.
I think when you get out here and everybody gets going, the speed picks up. But I think that 3rd drive, we took it pretty deep here and drove down to their territory. We came up short.
All right, Kelly, we'll get back to you after this play. 1st down and 10 on the 34-yard line. Morris looking, throwing out on the right side. Pass is complete to Maurice Purify. One of those guys that has to play big today. He gets inside the 25, down about the 24-yard line. Purify out of Nebraska, a big receiver at 6'4", 224 pounds. Of course, his uncle was Bobby Purify, running back with Colorado. You see the numbers on him this past season. The one thing the scouts were talking about him, and that's an interesting helmet, by the way, all the ends on the helmet, is that he's got to run his routes more precise. We got that word from about 5 or 6 scouts throughout the week, and they were in agreement. He's a big target, uses his body well, but has to be a little more crisp on the right, on the routes. 2nd down and short. Pass into the end zone is going to be tipped. Nice defensive play as the pass was intended for Paul Raymond out of Brown University. On the coverage, Will Ray Fontenot from Arizona. Brings up a third down in less than one. Here's a good look at Fontenot out of Humboldt, Texas. 4-year fixture in that Arizona defense. Did a nice job for Mark Stoops, defensive coordinator. And they'll go from the shotgun with Morris. Once again, he is a threat to run, averaged almost 4 yards a carry this year. Nice job, though, by that West defense. Leading the charge, Jason Shirley out of Fresno State. Talking to the scouts, they say this young man can be dominating at times. They want to see him be dominating all the time. Saw some of that upper body strength by Shirley. That brings up a fourth down. Now the West 0 for 2 on fourth downs. The East going to try for their first one. Paul Raymond goes wide to the left side. Morris from the shotgun, looking left, locks onto his receiver, pass incomplete.
High defense, let's go get him. Let's go
The pass was there, not able to pull it down. Maurice Purify, the intended receiver, Patek on the coverage. We've got a change of possession. We are in the second quarter, 12:28 to play. East leading the West by 2 TDs.
Starting a new garden doesn't have to be back-breaking. Not when you have the Mantis Tiller Cultivator. It does all the hard work for you. The Mantis Tiller weighs only 20 pounds. It's easy for anyone to handle. The powerful 2-cycle engine spins the patented tines deep into the soil. They dig down, cutting through the hardest clay and tangled weeds. They're so tough, they're actually guaranteed never to break. Yet the Mantis maneuvers nimbly, even in the tightest places. Tilling, weeding, and cultivating have never been easier. Now you can get this amazing Mantis Tiller Cultivator at huge factory direct savings. Plus, we'll give you this border edger free. Use the Mantis for a full year. And if you're not delighted, return it for a prompt, no questions asked refund. Call now and we'll send you complete information. It's yours free with no obligation.
Call 1-800-455-2219. That's 1-800-455-2219. Call 1-800-455-2219 today.
Check. Welcome to the 2008 Cornerstone Hula Bowl. I'm Ron Thulin along with Kelly Stauffer and Lewis Johnson. We've got the coach's mic. We're allowed to interview players on the sideline to kind of give you an inside look. May even sneak in a little halftime pep talk there as we look at Ron Zook, head coach at Illinois, coaching that East squad. His team leads 14-0. They forced 2 turnovers in this ball game. Marcus Thomas with a fumble, TC Ostrander with a fumble, and Paul Smith, the quarterback from Tulsa for the East, taking advantage of both. Kurt. Alex Brink now in at quarterback for this West squad out of Washington State. This is another young man the scouts are very intrigued by. We have our first penalty flag thrown as Penix tries the right side. Nothing doing. Penix out of Minnesota. Our referee today, Frank White from the WAC. We got a WAC crew on hand.
Personal foul, face mask, number 89 on the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
All right, Alex, let's go.
Carlton Powell's the one who had the infraction. Cheaters.
That's all right, let's go, play ball.
Coach Zook trying to pump him up. Coach Riley showing a sense of humor.
45, Kurt.
All right, let's go.
First down and 10. Ball moved up to the 43-yard line. Little play action by Brink, looking to throw it into the flat. Has a man, but it's overthrown. Pass was intended for Robert Jordan. Look at Alex Brink's numbers this year. 26 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. And this is a guy, though, that's got, we talked about the good size for Brink. He's 6'3", 215. And here's a guy that really is just on the cusp, I think, Kelly, of showing the scouts what he can do.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is some see his arm strength as a weakness, and I don't necessarily see that. He seems to throw the ball at a pretty efficient level. What I really like about Alex Brink is his timing. He anticipates his receivers, and that can always make up for anything you lack in arm strength.
Boy, Penix just lowering the head on Justin McKinney coming up from that cornerback spot to make the stop. You know, when you talk about Alex Brink, and I had one scout tell me if he'd be playing in USC or Arizona State's offense, he would probably be considered a top quarterback in the country.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy into that completely, but I do believe that he has a lot to offer. He's played a lot of football, and he's been very productive, and he's that type of guy that you can teach your system, and you can get in there and you can have him manage a game without a lot of big mistakes. That's what Brink brings to the table.
Jumping on the left side of the defense. Brink's pass is complete up to the 50-yard line, nothing doing. Penix couldn't go anywhere on the play. Huh? He's going to be short of the first down. He'll bring up another fourth down. And I think he's going to punt. Only took him going 0 for 2, Kelly. He went, I don't think we'll try that again.
Yeah, he gave Danny Langsdorff 2 opportunities, and now it's going to be the punt. But we just saw Penix from Minnesota. I really like that kid. He is a talent. He's a total package. Quick. He's tough. And you saw him catch on that third down, even though he didn't pick up the first down. But it was a ball behind him. Running backs have a hard time with balls that aren't right on their body, and Penix seems to catch that ball naturally.
Josh Morgan standing back at the 11-yard line. Prather, a nice end-over-end kick. Fair catch. Call. Ball's loose. It'll go out of bounds. And I think it's going to be down to the 2-yard line. That's where the East will take over, leading 14-0. 11 minutes left to play in the opening half.
At Franklin Springs Family Media, we're working to provide your family with films that will strengthen, entertain, and encourage families. From A Journey Home to Still Standing, the Stonewall Jackson story, to the musical artistry of the Eden String Quartet and Charlie Zahm and the Pearsall Sisters. We're telling stories that are enriching families around the world. Log on to franklinsprings.com for films that will further a hopeful vision for your family.
Time stands still, and you want to get to your feet and keep moving no matter what direction. Just don't lay there. If there's nowhere to go, you know where to run, just wad up in the ball and just pray everything's gonna be all right.
Walking out, knowing you're the champion, knowing that that's your cage, that's your home. Losing's not an option.
McCullough unleashes a fury.
When I step in there, I finish my opponents.
That's it!
If that ref doesn't pull me off them, that dude's in for a bad night.
You're gonna have to rip my heart out to get me to give up that belt.
He is just raining down punches.
I'm gonna tee off on his face.
Wow!
14-0, East with the football and the lead. With just 11 minutes left to play in this opening half. They take over first and 10. Ball's out about the 3.5-yard line. Bernard Morris for Marshall, still in at quarterback for the East. 3-step drop, quick out, left side, pass complete. They'll mark him out of bounds at about the 8-yard line. Let's check in with Lewis Johnson. Lewis.
Thanks a lot. Well, I've got Jim Goodman here. He's the director of player personnel for the Denver Broncos, and we've talked about how important it is for the scouts to be here to see all the players. And we've agreed not to talk about specifics, but Jim, you've been coming over here for 8 years to look at everybody. How important is it to have all these great players in one location for all the scouts to see?
Well, Lewis, it's invaluable to come and have them all in one spot. It would take a lot of man hours to go to all these schools, and of course we've all been to those schools, but now then we see them in a different environment, a little more laid back. You can talk with them and interview them. You get to see the practices. You get to see them tested, and so that experience and watching that for a week is invaluable to any NFL club.
For those at home who don't understand what it's like, through the week you really spend a lot of specific time really evaluating things other than just what we see on the field. Is that right?
Right. We test them, we height, weight measure them, we interview them, and we watch them mingle with each other and with other adults, and so that you see how they handle themselves. And then the practices are just fantastic. They work against each other on one day of the week. They come and they actually do some scrimmage. They do one-on-one. They do some half line. And Nick Logan and the people here have just done an outstanding job with the game. And I know we really appreciate it with the Broncos.
And then finally, Jim, once you get to the war room and you're trying to decide on somebody with the rest of your group, might your experience here, your connection, your talk with somebody make a difference at some point?
Absolutely, Lewis. You'll recall things that happened in this game, people that made plays, people that made special team plays. You'll recall that, and you'll talk about it over and over again in the war room, so it'll come up again, all the good plays they made here.
All right, Jim, thanks so much. And Ron, it's been interesting to talk with Jim all week long. I've learned a lot about how this whole process works from here to the combine till the chance for somebody to actually make an NFL roster.
Thank you, Lewis. Appreciate it.
That's been the pleasure watching the scouts and just having a chance to chat with them. On second down at about 5, not much going on for Keon Lattimore, of course, the brother of Ray Lewis. Talked to him earlier, but Jim Goodman, one of the truly nice gentlemen. So. I mean, we had great conversations with him and a number of scouts.
What's interesting, Ron, is what the players have to now understand is everything that they say and do is going to be taken into consideration, especially in a setting like this. Scouts like Jim for the Broncos, you know, they, like he talked about, they think of things, they're looking across the lobby of the hotel and they see how you interact with someone who comes up and wants your autograph. Everything is evaluated at this point because they have to decide whether they want to invest time and a great deal of money in these players on the field today.
Morris on 3rd down and 5, slips a tackle. He'll be close to the first down. Jason Shirley coming up from Fresno State out of Fontana, California.
Jason Shirley had a great week. He's that guy who plays over the center and pushes the pocket, as you see right there. But Bernard Morris has that ability. He has good feet. He has a good feel in the pocket. It's more instincts than it is anything else. He has a good release. What he has to do is be able to anticipate his receivers and have better timing. And I think that will come as he learns and understands how to play this game at this level.
Well, a 4th down and short. It's probably the length of the football. Morris is going to go for it from the shotgun. On the ground. Oh, the second effort gets it. Nice job by Keon Lattimore. They called him powerful, some of the scouts. Amani Purcell is the one that came up and made the initial hit, but the great second effort by Lattimore getting them the first down.
Yeah, and you can hear Coach Zook talking about, did they blitz? Because it's against the rules. But what happens, especially on 4th down situations, is the defender looks at the official and says, I just had a real quick reaction to the football. I didn't blitz.
Yeah, just remember the television rule. It's easier to ask forgiveness than permission.
That's right.
1st and 10, closing in on 8 minutes to play in the half. Morris going deep, has caught inside the 30, inside the 25-yard line to Marcus Fitzgerald, the younger brother of Larry Fitzgerald.
And Fitzgerald is just running a seam route up inside from his slot position, does a nice job of getting by the defender and then getting back on track, meaning up the seam, away from the safety, and giving Morris time to find him down the field. Very nice route running by Fitzgerald.
37 yards on the reception. That is longer than his regular season reception, which was 30. So a 1st and 10 right now for the East, leading 14-0. This is their longest drive they've had. Once again, started on about the 3. Morris steps up in the pocket, has a little bit of running room, gets away from one tackler, gets down about the 15-yard line. Jordan Dizon on the stop. There's Larry Fitzgerald Sr. And of course, there's Larry Fitzgerald Jr., Arizona Cardinals, all-pro wide receiver. Runner-up for the Heisman Trophy. He's got 2 sons that are good.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a nice quote earlier this week when Marcus was talking to Coach Zook, and he said, you know, God didn't give me the height that he gave my brother. And Coach Zook looked at him and said, he must have gave you something or you wouldn't be standing right here, so go use it and get it done. And Marcus has learned how to do that.
Now 2nd down and short now for the East. Gallender will be short of the 1st down, makes his way down to the 15-yard line. Gabe Long going underneath out of Utah, coming up to make the stop.
Andre Callender from Boston College has been another running back that has had a nice week. He's not a real big running back, 5'11", 199, but he just seems to be efficient between the tackles. He seems to get the most out of those runs inside the tackles, and that's very valuable in this game of football, especially at the next level.
On 3rd down and 2, Latimer will line up behind Morris. Arthur wide to the left. 2 wide receivers to the right side. Latimer. Nothing doing. Submarined again right at the 15-yard line. Nothing going on. And we're going to have our first field goal attempt of the afternoon. That'll bring Art Carbony in. Strong-legged kicker, good accuracy. Out of Louisville and Shreveport, Louisiana, you can see all-time scoring leader, 433 points. Also had a record back in 04 of 77 straight extra points without a miss. That, of course, broken by Alex Treleca of Texas Tech.
Yeah, he's very accurate. The question is, does he have a strong enough leg? Because he doesn't have a lot of kicks plus 50, and sometimes you're going to obviously have to do that at that next level.
This is a 32-yarder, and it's going to be no good off to the left. He was 7 of 8 during the regular season from that distance. So the West dodges a bullet, 5:20 to play in the first half. They trail it 14-0.
All right. There he is. Man, look at that buck. What a deer.
For more than 30 years, Jerry Johnston and the Texas Trophy Hunters Association have promoted hunting in the outdoors. You too can be a part of a proud tradition. Call today and take advantage of this special offer. First, a special rate of only $29.95, $5 off the regular price. You'll receive a full year's membership, plus the official members cap, TTHA knife, and 6 issues of the Journal of the Texas Trophy Hunters, all for just $29.95. TTHA and you, building the fellowship and future of the great outdoors.
Now there's a whole new cell phone experience that's simple, helpful, and affordable. It's the Jitterbug.
Bigger buttons, a powerful speaker. The sound is loud and clear.
And no one else gives such personal service.
May I add that name to your phone list, Mrs. Davis?
Cell phones frustrated my parents until I gave them the Jitterbug.
It's easy to use, affordable.
And there's reliable service wherever we go.
I don't have time for a complicated phone. Everything about Jitterbug is simple. You gotta love that.
Affordable Jitterbug service starts at only $10 a month with no contracts. Order now with your valid credit card and get a free car charger. 1-800-832-0082.
On Thursday, the players not only practiced on a naval base, but they also got a first-hand look at Pearl Harbor. And talking to the players over the last 2 days, every one of them said how emotional it was to go visit the memorial for the USS Arizona and just walk around to see where our country's history was formed. Another fumble. That's the 3rd fumble for the West, but they do get it back. Matt Spanos came up with a loose ball, the center out of USC. Alex Brink still in at quarterback. Ron Zook.
Kurt, watch our man from Syracuse now. Is he all right?
Second down and 11.
Pass. Let's go, Coach.
The flat pass is complete. Over the 25 to the 27-yard line to Ernie Wheelwright. The player that Kelly and I were talking about during the open. Long arms, soft hands, uses his size well.
Here we go.
Pass completion, good for 8 yards.
There you see the numbers on him. Averaged almost 12 yards a reception, 9 touchdowns this year. Brings up a 3rd down. We'll call it about 3. 2 wide receivers to the left side. Look out. Brink tries to get away. Nothing doing. Angelo Craig out of Cleveland, Ohio, and Cincinnati with his 2nd sack of the ball game.
Put the punt return.
Angelo Craig, 2 years at linebacker, the last 2 years at defensive end, loss of 11. Great play by Craig, Kelly.
You got it? Hold him up.
And they're going to be forced to punt. The West not being able to get anything going offensively. Nakamura standing at his 45-yard line. He'll return the punt. Also a Cincinnati Bearcat. Good snap. Nice kick. Nakamura being backed up inside the 35-yard line. Looks to the right, finally just dips his head down. 49 yards on the kick, 3 on the return. Here's Kelly again. Kelly on the field, roaming around, huh?
Kevin O'Connell again. He's a quarterback from San Diego State that played in that first quarter. How did it feel in that first quarter to you?
I felt pretty good. I mean, we're always going to have to come out and get through going full speed because we've been out here practicing hard all week. But game day's a little different. I mean, everybody's got that extra step, and we got a little more zip on the ball. But we got that thing ironed out there on that third drive and really did some good stuff. Moved the ball, flipped the field, and had a tough play on fourth down there. But I'm getting ready to go back in here, so I had a chance to kind of see things. So.
Let me ask you one more question. What is your goal when you come into a game like this? I mean, what do you have in mind to accomplish?
You just want to come out and establish yourself and get in a rhythm. It's hard when you're getting rotated around and everybody's got to play. So for the most part, I mean, you just want to come out and make the throws and just kind of lead in any way that you can in the short time that you've had with your guys.
All right. Appreciate your time. Wish you well. Hey, back to you, Ron.
All right, Kelly. Bernard Morris hooking up with Paul Raymond, good for 29 yards. Raymond, one of the top receivers in the Ivy League out of Brown University, had 55 catches this year, averaged almost 18 yards a reception, and he had a couple of great yak yards there. 1st and 10. Morris straight drop, steps back up in the pocket, and just does the wise thing, throwing it at the feet of his intended receiver. There was nothing there. Harmel was the intended receiver. Thomas Williams was posting him up right behind him. Well, getting back to Morris, he's had a couple of nice throws already. We talked about the former walk-on maybe being a little bit raw, but he's shown a lot of poise so far in this ball game. He and Paul Smith both have. Now Josh Morgan goes wide to the left side. 7 of 10, over 100 yards already for Morris. 2:45 left in the half. He's trying to add another touchdown. Morris, long out. Oh, almost picked off. Nice timing route. Myron Newberry from Denton, Texas, played right here in Hawaii, who had 4 picks during the regular season, almost had 1 in this game.
And you really saw what Morris has to do at the next level is he has to be able to throw that exact route because it's so long run across the field to deep out. It's kind of the traditional pass that they evaluate quarterbacks on. And if you don't have the arm strength, the ball just has to come out just a little bit quicker, and Newberry wouldn't have had that break on the ball.
So that brings up a 3rd down and 10. Parmalee in the backfield. Here comes the rush. Has to step up again. Going deep down the middle of the field. Almost caught. Incomplete. Intended for Josh Morgan. He wanted some pass interference. Not going to get it.
Go. 4th down. Defense, get ready.
Let's look at this again.
And Josh Morgan is a big physical receiver, and right there he puts his hands right in the back of Dominic Patrick and pushes him to the ground. But as we can see, I think there's only been 1 or 2 penalties in this game. I think it's kind of the unwritten rule is if it's not blatant, don't call it.
Yeah, we've only had 1 penalty. That was a face mask. Couldn't avoid that. 4th down, and the West is going to go for it with 2:31 to play. See 4th down conversions. The West has an offer. Purify now on the slot top of the screen. Morris straight drop. Again eluding the defender. Stops. Oh my, he's in big trouble. Can he get out of it? Throws it. Incomplete. Pass was intended for Purify. So Mike Riley's team holds. Let's check in with Lewis Johnson.
Hey, I'm down here with my fellow Bearcat, Angelo Craig. You've got 2 sacks on the day, and I noticed after that last one, Ray Lewis came by and said something to you. What did he say?
Oh, he said he like it, keep it coming. He loved my effort off the edge.
Now, what does it mean to a young guy like you, dreaming to be, where he is, to have him say something like that?
It means everything to me, to have Ray Lewis come up to me. I've been watching him since I was a kid, so I just want to come out here and give everybody a show today.
And to have 2 sacks on the day, you can feel like right now you've made a mark for yourself?
I'm not done.
Oh, okay. A couple more, maybe?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Ron, let's look for a couple more from Angelo.
All right.
I like
Lewis
it.
coming to talk to you. That's not bad, huh?
No,
there's some motivation,
not.
baby.
That'll work. Penix now in the backfield is Brink going up top. Deep on the post pattern. Almost picked up. Yes, it's intercepted. Great job by the East defense. Nakamura getting the tip ball to bring it in. Mike Riley can't believe it. It was intended for Jason Rivers. This is heads-up play, Kelly.
And this is exactly the question on Alex Brink. Does he have the arm strength? And that, I don't think, is a matter of arm strength. You just have to put that ball out there a little bit earlier and put it out there deeper because Rivers was open. The ball just needed to come out a little bit sooner. But that's what Alex Brink is going to have to answer if he's going to play at the next level. Do I have the arm strength to push that ball out probably another 5 yards, and Rivers catches it and walks into the end zone?
Haruki Nakamura from Cincinnati, Justin McKinney from Kansas State had the tip. Third turnover of the ball game for the West squad. East has turned 2 of those into scores, and they have 2:12 to work here. Morris into the flat, pass is incomplete.
I'll tell you what, this Bernard Morris has a gun. That ball comes out quick, and it is on a rope. And the thing that he has to do is he just has to get that sense of timing down a little bit. And this is a difficult environment to do that because you're working with receivers really for the first time. In all intents and purposes, they might have had 2 legitimate practices this week, but Morris has the physical ability. I think he's going to get a shot at the next level.
7 of 14 over 100 yards thrown for Morris. But he's also shown a little bit of escapability back there.
Yeah, he's kept a few plays alive today.
Here comes the pressure again. Looks for his receiver. Pass is caught. Joey Hanos. He gets over the 40-yard line up to the 43-yard line. The former walk-on, now all-conference from Maryland, finally caught by Scott Derry.
Yeah, there's a nice story. Walk on and then become all-conference. And he's a big tight end, 6'8", 260. And that's a good thing in the passing game if you use that to your advantage. But where he has to improve is he has to stay low and keep a low pad level on the line of scrimmage because at 6'8", it's easy for defenders to get under that frame.
We've got a timeout with 1:58 left to play in the half. Some of the local flavor. I think he could play defensive tackle. Good night.
Without shoulder pads or a helmet.
Always ready for Hula Bowl.
Well, coming up at halftime, we're going to be looking back at this season, the 2007 season, also looking ahead. This is who I talked about having the top 5 coming into this year, which I'm not a real big fan of preseason polls anyway. This is a total guess, my friends. I'm the guy that keeps thinking the Pirates are going to win the World Series, by the way. And here's Kelly's. He's better than me.
Yeah, I think similar teams. I like USC. Pete Carroll has a ton of talent. Ohio State had a lot of underclassmen playing in that championship game, but Oklahoma is a team to watch. Stoops always has good defense, and I think with Sam Bradford, that Oklahoma offense is probably going to be one of the top 5 in all the country next year.
Well, the East takes the ball with 1:58 at the 42-yard line, 1st and 10. Morris shows some poise, has a man caught inside the 30 to Jabari Arthur. They'll mark him down inside the 25, down to the 23-yard line. Arthur showing a lot today, 35 yards on that reception.
And what Arthur had to do is he had to get past press coverage at the line of scrimmage, and you can see the defender right there trailing him. That's how bad Arthur beat him at the line of scrimmage. Get off the ball, then get down the field, and then make a play, and Arthur did all of that on that play.
Jabari Arthur from Quebec, Canada, Montreal, Quebec. 86 receptions on the year, over 1,100 yards. And again, the East trying to take advantage of a West miscue. Closing in on 1.5 minutes to play in the opening half. Morris putting it up just about every time now. Oh, he's got a lot of green space. Tries to get to the outside, can't turn the corner. Nice job by Scott Derry closing in. Derry out of Texas and Pearland, Texas.
He can't run like Eddie.
Scott Derry, there's an interesting story too. Here's a young man that can play all 3 linebacker positions, all academic Big 12. He's already in the Red McComb School of Business going after his MBA. But this is a man that during the break between the regular season and the bowl game, Kelly, he worked his fanny off for Mac Brown during what they called boot camp, and he got to start the bowl game. He's an outstanding linebacker. I think somebody's going to take a look at this young man.
Yeah, and what you talked about, his ability to play all three different positions is very valuable. At the next level, they have a saying, the more you can do, the longer you stay, and flexibility and versatility, and that's Scott Derrick.
How about a little bit of a draw here? Down inside the 20 to the 15-yard line is Reggie Campbell from the Naval Academy. Campbell, all 5'6", 168 pounds, out of Sanford, Florida. In the third overtime of that Notre Dame game, he's the one that caught the touchdown plus the 2-point conversion.
Here we go. Be ready.
Here's Mike Riley.
Be ready.
Yeah.
There's some good advice. That covers a wide variety of things on the field.
Yeah.
Coaches had a good time this week.
Yes, they have. You know, and that's been the fun, I think, for a lot of us, because I've had the chance to know Coach Riley for a while and getting to meet Coach Zook and just seeing them in a more relaxed situation.
Yeah.
We go inside of a minute. 1st and 10. East threatening again. Morris gets away again, dumping it off, incomplete. He takes quite a wallop in the backfield.
He's hard to get to, isn't he?
Yes, he is, Mike. I agree. Nick Osborne had the quarterback pressure.
Yeah, Morris has a nice feel of the pocket. He saved the East team many negative plays today just by moving his feet. He got some positive yardage, but a lot of times he just gets out of trouble, gets his head down the field, throws the ball away, and those things add up if you're an offensive football team.
2nd down and 10, ball's on the 13-yard line. 46 seconds left to play in the half. Morris, the quick look-in pass, caught in traffic, and he takes a hit right at the 6-yard line. Nice job by Bruce Hawker from the Duquesne Dukes. The Duquesne program about 20 years ago was actually club football. Now they're 1AA, and he was an All-American there.
Well, you can see he doesn't shy away from contact, and that's really the MO on him, is he uses his body well. The quick slant at the goal line, there's going to be a collision. You just have to hang on to the ball, and Bruce Hawker did it on that play.
Let's listen to the coaches during the timeout.
Stick it in there. Stick it in there.
Hey, listen, Fit. Need some water, need some water, need some water, need some water.
Okay,
Let's go. Stick it in now.
The offensive coordinator taking over for the East squad. That's Steve Logan from Boston College.
Here we go, baby. Here we go.
Bernard Morris now 10 of 18, 169 yards throwing the ball.
You know, and some of those incompletions, the 8 incompletions, Ron, were Morris throwing the ball away probably 3 or 4 times. So that young man has played very well today. I think he's done himself proud.
And he faces 3rd down and 1, 39 seconds left in the half.
Keep banging on that door, you're right.
Morris, who completed 60% of his passes this year for Marshall.
Got a 4th down play.
Over 3,100 yards. Actually had more rushes than he did pass attempts. 3rd down and 1. Callender in the backfield joining Morris. Pass is incomplete, intended for Joey Hanos. Hanos just couldn't stretch out that big 6'8" body of his. That'll bring up a 4th down and a yard. Let's check in with Lewis Johnson.
Hey, Ron, you know, there's always a group that's the life of the party, and Joey Hanos has some family members here that have come from the East Coast, and they are out of control. I'm going to try and talk to them in the second half, but he's got his mom, the twin sister who's an aunt, godmother, and then another lady who just ditched her family to go along for the ride. They're having a lot of fun. I'll talk to them in the second half.
Ditch their family, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what she said. I'm along for the ride.
4th down and 1. And it's a keeper by Morris, leaning that big frame, 6'4", 211 pounds, pushing the pile. That should be enough for a 1st down. Well, the officials actually had a pretty good spot. They moved it back a little bit, Kelly. They're going to have to measure. Frank Weiss saying, let's measure.
Hey, Joey, take a split, okay? Hey, Joe.
Oh, come on. They're saying he didn't make it. Oh, come on.
Hey, Joey.
He's going open, so split out.
Go. Split out.
Split out.
Right.
One step. One step.
Now, Coach, don't worry, you got it.
No, let's go.
27 seconds. That'll bring up a 1st and goal now. Ball on about the 3.5-yard line. Clock is running. That's why the coach is saying get on it quick. Arthur wide to the left. Manos in the slot. 2 wide receivers to the right. Morris from the shotgun. Looks right. Pass. Caught. Touchdown East.
Like that, sucker.
Bruce Hocker out of Duquesne in Upper Marlboro, Maryland with a touchdown reception.
Hey, perfect time left.
We talked about the evaluation on Hocker is a big body who uses it well, and that's what you do. A slant on the goal line is you shield the defender, kind of like going up, boxing out for a rebound, and Hocker did a nice job. And remember, Ron, the inside receiver was the big tight end, Joey Hayes, that time, and he took a lot of defenders inside with him, one-on-one outside to Hocker, and Morris threw it right in his belly.
3 turnovers for the West squad. East has turned it into 3 touchdowns. This one with 8 seconds left. One more look at the TD.
They say that Hocker is raw, but uses his body well. And right here, he uses that big frame as the shield. The defender's on his back, can't get to the football. If the quarterback just puts it inside your body, you have a touchdown, and that's what happened.
You know what I also saw in that play, Kelly? It looked like Morris did a nice job of selling it to the left.
Yeah,
he had a good stare to the left, then he went back to the right.
You're exactly right. His head initially was a little bit to the left. That just holds all the defenders in place, and any window that opens up on the right is going to be there when your head goes that way to throw the football.
Okay, we're about halfway home now. The standouts in this game that you think the scouts may be saying right now, we didn't know that. Anybody stand out to you, Kelly?
Yeah, I think Paul Smith had a great first half in the time that he played. I think he managed it well. I think Morris, after he came in relief of Paul Smith, has played very well. A nice fill in the pocket and that type of thing. I think Bruce Hocker, we just saw in a couple of nice plays, uses his body well. They say he's raw and doesn't consistently run good routes. You can fix that, but you can't give him that raw ability that this young man already has.
Ryan Witherspoon set to get the kick, but they're going to squib it as the clock will go down. Somebody's going to start the clock, and it finally does. This is C.J. Hawthorne. They'll be stopped at the 38-yard line with 3 ticks left on the clock.
And Ron, obviously on the defensive side, Angelo Craig, he's just an absolute menace off the short edge, getting after the quarterback.
And some of the guys we thought that needed to step up, they've been relatively quiet in this ball game.
Yeah, I think you're right. We've heard from Ernie Wheelwright a couple of times, but nothing special. I think Purify hasn't really shown up either. But it's difficult, and we've talked to O'Connell already. It's difficult for quarterbacks and receivers in games like this. It's hard to get on the same page when you only practice a couple times together.
Well, Kevin O'Connell is back in for the final snap of the opening half. And they're just not going to take a knee. He puts it up over the middle, caught inside the 40-yard line down to the 39-yard line is C.J. Hawthorne.
All right, that's it.
He's actually done a pretty nice job. And O'Connell was calling a timeout. He was doing his Chris Webber imitation. You don't have a timeout. Let's check in with Lewis Johnson.
All right, well, Ron, you've got 3 turnovers that you turn into touchdowns. Things going good on offense and defense. What do you think?
Well, we got to clean up special teams a little bit. We're getting guys kind of forget where they're at sometimes, but they're doing good. They're having fun. Coaches are doing a good job. The players are doing a good job. Now we just got to keep them hydrated and come out here and play 30 more minutes.
All right. Anybody standing out to you so far?
Well, I think that the offensive quarterback last series has really done a good job in the second quarter there, and I really thought that the defense we've been playing pretty good defense.
All right, Ron. We'll see you in the second half. Thanks. And sit tight, everybody. When we come back, Ron and Kelly will take a look back at some of the great moments of the 2007 college football season. All that and more when we return to Honolulu.
The 2008 Cornerstone Hula Bowl on Versus is brought to you by Aqua Hydrate Water. Hydrate, replace, recover. Don't let your wellness run dry. And by ManaCard, the most secure way to financially support missionaries in the field. And by SkywardAssetManagement.com.
General Douglas MacArthur made his famous return to the Philippines in October of 1944. Soon, MacArthur knew his war-weary troops needed a break. That break came when Navy and Army would meet on the gridiron. For a few hours, the war was almost forgotten as the cadets won 23-7. MacArthur then sent a telegram to West Point. "We have stopped the war to celebrate your magnificent success." That's his story. What's yours? Tell us at circahistory.com.
Introducing the Cornerstone lineup of reloadable prepaid MasterCards. Choose an all-star player by calling 1-877-356-1319. Your first-round pick for 2007 is convenient and secure. Can manage purchases, eliminate money orders, eliminate check cashing fees, access your account online, and more. Apply for a Cornerstone Bank Card prepaid MasterCard now. Call 1-877-356-1319. Cornerstone Bank Cards are issued by MetaBank, pursuant to license from MasterCard International.
Time stands still. You're just, you want to get to your feet and keep moving, no matter what direction. Just don't lay there. If there's nowhere to go, you know where to run. Just wad up in the ball and just pray everything's gonna be all right.
Walking out, knowing you're the champion, knowing that that's your cage, that's your home. Losing's not an option.
McCullough unleashes a fury.
When I step in there, I finish my opponents.
That's it!
If that ref doesn't pull me off them, that dude's in for a bad night.
You're gonna have to rip my heart out to get me to give up that belt.
He is just raining down punches.
I'm gonna tee off on his face.
Wow.
We welcome you back to Hawaii for the Hula Bowl. It is a perfect day for football, but then again, every day is perfect in Hawaii. We all know it was a pretty crazy year in college football in the year 2007, so we decided to take a step back and look at 5 of the top games. Kelly, you start out with the championship game, Ohio State and LSU. I think a lot of us felt because of what happened to Ohio State last year, they'd give LSU a really good game this year.
Yeah, and what started to happen in this game after the sorting out process is LSU's speed in the SEC began to show up again, and Ohio State really had no answer for it. But I think this championship game really epitomized the year. You have an LSU team with 2 triple overtime losses as our national champion. I think that really was a fitting way to sum up this season.
Well, Les Miles got to raise the trophy. Are they the best team in college football?
I think they are, because Les Miles is raising that trophy right there, brother. That's how they decided.
Well, you know, you talk about crazy plays. Everybody remembers, of course, the Cal Stanford, but we take you to Division III, Trinity College out of San Antonio, Texas, taking on Millsaps College. Time running out. They needed to win. Trinity College needed to win this football game in order to keep their playoff hopes alive, and they pulled off a miracle in the closing seconds. I think this typifies what went on this season.
Yeah, this is a great play to have in there for that reason. Look at all the Millsaps players that are standing around thinking this game's over with, and that we watch games like this, not quite to this degree, but throughout the college football season. But man, this was a spectacular play.
I think it amounted to 15 different laterals or passes or whatever you want to call it, but it's 15 times about 100 as far as the luck factor in this play, because Trinity just kept playing, and you know, coaches tell you, play to the whistle.
Yeah, and I think Cal Stanford, in the play that we remember in John Elway's season, I think there were only 6 laterals in that game. You have more than twice that here on this play as Trinity College takes it into the end zone and wins the game in the end.
28-24 was the final. Now, you talked about those overtime games. Here's one of them with LSU taking on Arkansas. Darren McFadden got things going in overtime number 2, but then it was just Arkansas.
Yeah, Darren McFadden really jumped up to the spotlight in that Heisman Trophy candidacy once again with his performance against this team. And LSU, they came back, they continued to get it done, but at the end of the day, Arkansas pulls it out in triple overtime. And once again, Ron, we see why college football is such a tremendous game. The parity this day and age in major college football is unreal.
Well, it was a huge upset, obviously, for Houston Nutt, his last game coaching, as Arkansas wins it in a couple of overtimes. Now, number 2, and this is the way the season started. I think this was an omen, although at the time none of us thought it would be. Appalachian State surprising Michigan. Jerry Moore's squad played an outstanding football game.
Yeah, and the thing that struck me about this upset is Appalachian State in the 1AA level has championships. They had won 2 national championships in a row. Those kids know how to compete, and they know what to do to win football games. And in the end, once they were in the game in the fourth quarter, it was just a matter of applying that winning tradition that they've already established. And they said, you know what, we can really get this done. And that's exactly what they did.
And they blocked the field goal. That secured the victory. And Appalachian State wins the ball game. Once again, 34-32 the final. But our #1 game of the year, a game you saw right here on Versus that you and I did, Stanford and USC, coming to you from the Coliseum in Los Angeles. I tell you, John David Booty did not have a good game.
Yeah, you're right. And remember the context of this game, USC was really banged up. And that's no excuse, because I said going into the game, USC had probably 2 or 3 teams on their depth chart that could win that football game. And so regardless of the context, in the end, Stanford pulls it out. Tavita Pritchard was the hero. He wasn't even supposed to play in this game.
Of course, he hooks up with Bradford, and that gave Stanford the victory, stunning the crowd of over 90,000 at USC. The final 24-23. And now that we took a look at the games, let's take a look at our major award winners. Of course, the highlight of that, Tim Tebow of Florida winning the Heisman.
The non-typical quarterback with over 20 rushing touchdowns. Darren McFadden was always in that race, but he's, I think, the best pure football player in the country, and a lot of nice players. Chris Long, we saw the opening game of the season on Versus, and he was a tremendous defensive end as well.
Of course, we're seeing Bierman and Woodhead today in our game here at the Hula Bowl.
Yeah, and Bierman is going to play linebacker today. He was a defensive end that was really unstoppable at Montana. And Danny Woodhead, he's a Division II kid, Harlan Hill, not only this year, but last year as well. We'll see what he can do amongst the big boys in this game.
Congratulations to everybody that won awards. Of course, we are not too far away from spring football, and we're going to pick our top 5, which is kind of dumb because we're not sure who's coming back, but we're going to do it anyway. I've got Georgia #1. I like Oklahoma until Malcolm Kelly now decided to go to the NFL. I think that hurts the Sooners, followed by LSU, the Trojans, and the Buckeyes.
Yeah, and Oklahoma still has Iglesias, though. I like your top 5. I just don't necessarily like him in that order. I think USC is going to be one of the most talented, if not the most talented team in the country. Ohio State had a lot of underclassmen, a lot of juniors playing in that national championship game. Again, Oklahoma, we talked about that, Ron. Georgia may have been the best team at the end of the year, and then LSU, they'll come back as the defending national champions. I think they need to be in the top 5 as well.
And we're not too far away from spring football and then the 2008 season. Not too far from us, we have 40-foot waves, and they're taking advantage of it. When we come back, we'll listen into the locker room from the Hula Bowl in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Stay focused for the next 60 seconds. That's all the time I have to tell you the truth about HD television. The truth your cable company doesn't want you to hear. Cable wants you to believe they're keeping up with HD capacity. They're not. But DirecTV is. Get the best entertainment and the most HD channels with DirecTV. That includes exclusive sports with games and matchups you won't see on cable. So call now for all your favorite sports, movies, and shows. And you always get your local channels. Do you know what else? Packages start at only $29.99 per month. Plus, call now and ask how you can get 32 premium movie channels free for 3 months. There are no startup costs, no equipment to buy, and professional installation is free. Call now. You also get a free HD receiver or DirecTV DVR upgrade from America's #1 HD provider. Time's up. Make the call.
When your state rivals and defending conference champs invade your turf, the only thing to say is, not in my house. Mountain West's ultimate grudge match is on. BYU, Utah versus College Hoops, next Saturday, 4 Eastern.
Three West turnovers have led to 21 points by the East. That's why the East leads the West 21-0. We We are about to start quarter number 3. Along with Kelly Stoffer, I'm Ron Thulin. Kelly, I think when you look at it, a lot of us felt that the West had better quarterbacks watching the practice, but that really hasn't been the case today.
It really hasn't. And what's interesting about a game like this is you need quarterbacks that come in and can kind of get in the rhythm early. The East has had it, the West hasn't, and that's the difference.
Well, let's take a look at some of the numbers from that opening half. Once again, the big number, of course, the 3 turnovers in the ball game, but you can see the total yards. The West only 60?
Yeah, that's amazing because the West has a lot of talent offensively in particular, but it's all about turnovers. No matter where you play the game and what setting you play the game, it's about keeping care of the football, and that really extrapolates out all over what we see on the screen right now.
I'll take that all away. It's still a 21-0 ball game. The East leading the West. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll be hearing from the coaches in the locker room. Our total access continues from the Hula Bowl.
No matter what the hell you want. One back, 2 back, 1.
Walking out, knowing you're the champion, knowing that that's your cage, that's your home. Losing's not an option.
McCullough unleashes a fury.
When I step in there, I finish my opponents.
That's it.
If that ref doesn't pull me off them, that dude's in for a bad night.
You're gonna have to rip my heart out to get me to give up that belt.
He is just raining down punches.
I'm gonna tee off on his face.
Wow.
It's not hard to know what to do with sons to toughen them up for manhood. But what about the father-daughter relationship? Most dads don't know how to help their girls between their childhood and marriage. But in this new documentary, you can meet 5 dads who know exactly how to love and train their daughters. For your family's sake and your daughter's sake, go to returnofthedaughters.com. Check it out.
Introducing the Cornerstone lineup of reloadable prepaid MasterCards. Choose an all-star player by calling 1-877-356-1319. Your first-round pick for 2007 is convenient and secure. Can manage purchases, eliminate money orders, eliminate check cashing fees, access your account online, and more. Apply for a Cornerstone Bank Card prepaid MasterCard now. Call 1-877-356-1319. Cornerstone Bank Cards are issued by MetaBank, pursuant to license from MasterCard International.
There he is. Man, look at that buck. What a deer.
For more than 30 years, Jerry Johnston and the Texas Trophy Hunters Association have promoted hunting in the outdoors. You too can be a part of a proud tradition. Call today and take advantage of this special offer. First, a special rate of only $29.95, $5 off the regular price. You'll receive a full year's membership, plus the official members cap, TTHA knife, and 6 issues of the Journal of the Texas Trophy Hunters, all for just $29.95. TTHA and you, building the fellowship and future of the great outdoors.
Halftime continues at the Hula Bowl in Honolulu. The East team leading the West 21-0. Lewis Johnson back inside Aloha Stadium with the CEO of this Hula Bowl, Mr. Nick Logan. And Nick, first of all, what's the week been like for you? And I know you've got some people that you want to thank on top of that.
Absolutely, thank you. The week's been great. Putting a game together like this has a lot of moving parts. Very thankful to God for being faithful to let the community embrace us and people back home really supporting us. I want to thank our sponsors, Hawaiian Airlines, New Balance, and Allstate for just standing behind us as we grow this game back to where it should be.
And I tell you, we have some tremendous weather here, and I know all the people here are having a great time. And Nick, one of the wonderful things we enjoy about this game is the access. So while we have a moment, since it's halftime, let's go inside the locker room and listen to what the coaches are talking about as they prepare for the second half.
It's all right, isn't it? 8-10, right? Samoa.
Not exactly Newt Rockney-ish. 21-0. He's leading the West. Second half straight ahead.
At Franklin Springs Family Media, our mission is clear. We make films for the purpose of strengthening, entertaining, and encouraging families. A Journey Home, The award-winning story of one dad's triumphant stand for his family is a treasured addition to DVD libraries and homes around the world. Log on to franklinsprings.com for films that will further a hopeful vision for your family.
Maxiderm works exactly as they said it would. You literally start feeling it in under 60 seconds.
She actually bought it for me. Now I'm a big believer.
It's never been better. Male enhancement doesn't always mean there's a problem. Maxiderm is for any man or couple that's looking for more. Customers report that it starts working in under 60 seconds, so you can see more, feel more, and enjoy more.
Call the number on the bottom of your screen right now to try Maxiderm absolutely risk-free. Plus, for a limited time, receive a free pack of Vasamine for sustained performance.
What a big difference. Big. Not everybody needs a prescription. That's why we created Maxiderm, the instant male enhancement formula that can make a big difference today.
Call the number on the bottom of your screen right now to try Maxiderm absolutely risk-free. Plus, for a limited time, receive a free pack of Vasamine for sustained performance. Call in the next 15 minutes for free upgraded rush delivery.
When your state rivals and defending conference champs invade your turf, the only thing to say is, not in my house. The Mountain West's ultimate grudge match is on. BYU, Utah versus college hoops next Saturday, 4 Eastern.
The 2008 Cornerstone Hula Bowl on Versus is brought to you by Sentry Parental Controls and by Aqua Hydrate Water. Hydrate, replace, recover. Don't let your wellness run dry. And by Cornerstone.cc, who's processing your credit cards.
On the island of Oahu, also known as the gathering place, that is Waikiki. Not too far from there, the East beating the West in the 2008 Cornerstone Hula Bowl 21-0. Along with Lewis Johnson, Kelly Stauffer, I'm Ron Thulin. Welcoming you back to an island paradise here in Honolulu, Hawaii. Glad you've been joining us today. 3 turnovers, the big key in that ball game by the West, leading to 3 touchdowns by the East. We told you just a moment ago how the players had a chance to visit Pearl Harbor. We talked with Kevin O'Connell about going there and what it meant to him, and he, like many of the players, got emotional and realized the significance of that memorial.
Meeting some of the kids that you know, all the kids we signed autographs for and had the little camp for, are Navy kids. I mean, they're born and raised here and on the island, and some of them, you don't know which ones, but their parents, their father or mom are out defending our country. So, you know, the little thing that we could do, maybe brighten up their day a little bit, was special for us. But you talk about the history and you could feel it. I mean, you drive by the Arizona Memorial going into the base, and you drive by different monuments inside that not a lot of people, other people get to see, and it was definitely special.
And Ron Zook and his troops felt the exact same way. Now, they won the toss and deferred in the first half, so they're going to get the ball here in the second half. And Lewis Johnson is with Coach Riley now. Lewis.
All right. What was the chit-chat at halftime? How are you going to get this offense going?
Well, I think the biggest thing right now is not turning the ball over. You know, it's just like all games, you know, when you come out and you give them a couple turnovers in one of them inside the 5 and the other one inside you know, the alumni zone, midfield, you know, that's really most of the story of the game.
Is that a byproduct of guys really not having a whole lot of time together? What do you think? Not playing in a long time?
Well, I don't know if those were particularly. I think the one was just a really good pass rush and not getting him blocked, and that was the biggest part of that. And you know, and then we need the turnovers lead to lack of continuity, all that. So.
Well, now I know that you're going to do something here, and you coach these guys up to come back and win. Might we see a great comeback here?
We are absolutely. That's exactly what we talked about in there. It's time for a big-time comeback.
Come on, light it up. We want to get some ratings here. Go get him, Mike. Okay.
Oh, boy. He's got a 21-0 deficit. You know, we saw him have a lot of comebacks this year. And I go back to last year's bowl game, actually, Kelly Stauffer, when they they tied the score, or they were still down, and they decided to go for 2 instead of the 1 that would have tied the game, and Evanson Bernard walks over. And I remember the bowl game in 2006 and seeing Coach Riley on the sideline, and he was just like that, smiling. And I asked him about that the other day. I said, every bowl game you play, and even in tense situations, you're always smiling. And he said, this is great. I love it. That's what kind of personality he has.
Yeah. He sent a message in that bowl game to his team, and we saw that carry over this year, Ron, where you can see that they have that ability to come back and win games. And I don't know whether in a week he can transfer that to the West team, but we'll see here in the second half.
Reggie Campbell, Josh Morgan set to receive the kick. It's going to be Josh Morgan, drops it at the 14-yard line. Gets nailed from behind as he gets up to the 19-yard line. Gerard Lawson coming up to make the stop out of Oregon State. So one of Mike Riley's own comes up with a big play.
Gerard Lawson is that guy. He's a cornerback, and he has nice speed, and there's a question about his cover ability. But where Lawson can make a football team is doing just that, making plays on special teams. We already saw him in the return game, but making plays, going down and making tackles as well. That's how that young man is going to make an NFL team.
All right. Lattimore now in the backfield. Our first look at Ricky Santos at quarterback. A little flea flicker. Going deep down the left side. Caught after it's tipped. Inside the 45 down to the 30-yard line. Josh Morgan, outstanding concentration from the player from Virginia Tech.
That shouldn't have worked. Hey. Just so you know, that shouldn't have worked.
You think, Coach? Pick up a 50 on the play. Longest play of the day.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Coach Zook there. Marion Newberry from Hawaii had his mitts on the football and just didn't finish a play. Josh Morgan did finish a play, stuck with it, but Santos gave that heave everything he had, and it was underthrown.
Well, to kind of back up Myron Newberry, he is looking into the sun, so we'll give him a break on that. Callender, though, running the football hard inside the 25 down to the 23. Let's take a look at that play one more time. You can see how close Newberry was to intercepting this.
In order to have a flea flicker work, most times the timing has to be much quicker than that. That results in the underthrow, but Newberry can't come up with the play, but Morgan can. But hey, my buddy Ron up there in the booth, if Newberry's looking into the sun, is not Morgan as well?
Well, it was tipped, and then when it was coming down, he was looking away from it.
Come on.
I'm trying to back up the guy from Denton, Texas.
I appreciate it.
It's a Texas thing.
I appreciate it.
Second down and short now. Santos keeps a nice pump fake. Keeps it alive, throwing into the end zone. Nope, incomplete. Intended for Keon Lattimore, who should have caught that football.
Hey, Ron, is that Ricky Santos or is that Doug Flutie? Because he resembles Doug Flutie in terms of once he gets his uniform on and making plays like that, the pump fake, getting outside the pocket, throwing clear across the field, all those things. That's Doug Flutie.
He's one of the top 1AA players, the Walter Payton Award winner back in 06. Saw the numbers on. You see the numbers on him. Better than a 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. That'll work. Third down and 4. They've got the first down. Andre Callender bulls his way down to the 15-yard line. Callender out of Boston College, almost 3,000 yards rushing for his career.
And Callender is a very physical runner inside, even though he isn't all that big at 199 pounds. But he's physical between the tackles, very efficient, gets the most out of his carries, but he seems to run upright a lot. And in the NFL, that's going to get you hurt. It's hard to run upright in the NFL and stay healthy.
First down, 13-16 left to play in the third quarter. Josh Morgan wide to the left. Little reverse. Nope, they keep it instead. Little shaking and baking as Keon Lattimore goes inside the 14 down to about the 11-yard line. Pretty good fake, though, by Lattimore.
Yeah, you're right. They faked the end around that time to the Z receiver. And the thing that I think people discovered about Lattimore this week is he's powerful, and you can see that at 223 pounds. But he has a little more change of direction than I think people anticipated. You can see it on that play. There was really nothing at the original point of attack. A couple steps up inside, and he gets positive yards out of it.
2nd down and 6. Santos will go from the shotgun. You saw no rushing yards for this West team. Santos throwing in the end zone, incomplete. Should have been caught in and out of the hands of Darryl Strong out of Pitt.
Come on.
3 touchdown receptions on the year. Looked like it was tipped, though, by Dominic Patrick out of Arizona.
And this is where Santos is going to have a difficult time at the next level, is finding a throwing lane. But obviously Santos has played this way, that size, his entire career. And you learn, you just kind of get a knack of the windows to throw it through. And you're absolutely right. Darryl Strong should have came down with that football.
Well, he had a penalty, so that'll push it back to the 16.5-yard line. 2nd down and 11. Ricky Santos out of Bellingham, Massachusetts. Santos sets up the little screen. Lattimore looking for some running room. Nice job getting tipped up by Scott Derry. We talked about him, how active he is at linebacker. Played for some great defensive coordinators, Gene Chizik, Greg Robinson. This past year, Dwayne Akina. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 11.
8 more yards.
I'll check that. 3rd down and about 7. Picked up 4 on the play.
Don't be surprised if the East tries to get Santos out of the pocket in this situation, just to try to give him a better look into the end zone. He throws very well on the move.
Morgan wide to the left, Purify in the slot. Santos looking right, little pump fake. Going to be dragged down back past the 20-yard line to the 21-yard line. Martell Burnett out of Utah and Los Angeles, California, had a half a sack during the regular season. Gets a full one today.
I don't exactly know what the pump fake was going to do there. Deep in plus territory, there's not a lot of room down in the plus territory for a pump fake, but Burnett does a nice job. He has a continuous motor. He keeps it going, and he worked hard on that play. We watched Burnett in practice. He's very big, but he is very fast in pursuit in particular.
Well, the East going to try the field goal. Here is Art Carmody. No rush. We'll call it a 38-yarder, and it is good. He missed one, and he's made one. So Art Carmody ups that East lead to 24-0. Waikiki Beach, not real crowded right now. Our score also big, 24-0.
When an imposing and quite drunk defendant named Russell Bean threatened to shoot anyone who dared approach him, neither the sheriff nor his posse could subdue the ruffian. Frustrated by the defendant's blatant disrespect for the rule of law, the judge himself demanded to be deputized.
I'm telling you, I'll shoot anybody gets in my way.
The judge feared no man.
Surrender, you infernal villain, or I'll blow you through.
Judge, watch out! He got a gun!
Asked by the sheriff why he surrendered to the judge and nobody else, the man simply said he had shoot in them eyes. The judge's name? Andrew Jackson, later America's 7th president. That's his story. What's yours? Tell us at circahistory.com, where the past is always present.
With my lung, there was no rehabbing. I had to blow up some balloons. That's my kind of rehab, drinking beer and blowing up balloons. With my shoulder, this is the first time that I've ever actually had to work at it, and I hate it. But I hate not having a chance to win worse.
Oh, never mind. 24-0, East leading the West after the field goal by Art Carmody that covered 38 yards. Along with Kelly Stauffer, Lewis Johnson, Ron Thulin with you. Sun shining bright away from our cameras and everybody moving over into the shade because the sun that we've all learned this week is extremely hot here in Hawaii. Carmody set to kick it away. Just over 10:40 left at quarter number 3. Line drive kick in and out of the end zone. Lawson just lets it bounce. You know, there have been some notable coaching moves this year. Probably one of the biggest, the most talked about. Rich Rodriguez going to Michigan. Bo Pelini returning back to Nebraska, leaving the LSU staff. Of course, Rick Neuheisel going back to his alma mater. Bill Stewart taking over for Rich Rodriguez. But front page here, ever since we've been here, has been June Jones leaving Hawaii. There's a lot of discussion about the lack of facilities here. Even state senators got involved earlier this week about it and said, this is despicable. We need to clean this thing up. June Jones now going for the money of SMU.
Yeah, and you know what that is, Ron? It's too little too late, because June Jones really wanted to stay here. And obviously $2 million a year is hard to pass up. But it's about facilities here, and you're absolutely right. June Jones gave him the opportunity, but it wasn't addressed, and so he decided to turn his attention a different direction.
Well, here's Evanson Bernard from Oregon State. Slips one tackle, gets up to the 35-yard line. Tackled by Larry Grant out of Ohio State. Funny, Kelly, during the break, you and I were talking. I said, what has happened to Bernard? His coach is coaching this team.
Yeah, no kidding. We haven't heard from the young man, and we really like him. And obviously, Mike Riley likes him as well. And we talked to Coach Riley about Bernard, and he said, you know, most of the time I would stay neutral and just let everything kind of sort itself out. But he said, not with this young man. If people would understand what they're getting in a total package with Bernard, they would take him in a heartbeat.
Well, here he is. They love the way he can run between the tackles, but not when you're being hogtied by a big defensive lineman in Carlton Powell from Virginia Tech. You know, and it's funny because you look at Evanson Bernard and you say he's 5'9", 204, and you think he wouldn't be able to run through the tackles, but that first step, Kelly, Mike Riley was telling us he loves it. He's not afraid to run there.
You're exactly right. He has a great burst initially, but that's what struck me, Ron, when we had Oregon State at Cal, when they upset Cal earlier in the year on Versus, is Bernard's ability to run between the tackles. He's very efficient, and he's very physical in there for his size.
You say he's a pretty good blocker, and that was also one of the raps on him. O'Connell scrambling, looking, loses the football. Is it out of bounds? No, let's see what the official marks it. No, they're saying they kept it in bounds. Rob Jackson coming up with it.
Turnovers, turnovers, turnovers. No matter what game you're playing in, you can't win it if you turn the ball over.
Got to secure the football.
Yeah, but Kevin O'Connell did a nice job of eluding the rush initially, but then you have to understand the pressure behind you. There's only so much time, and that time gets smaller as you get to the NFL. Yeah. You don't have as much time.
Brian Johnston is the one who forced the fumble, picked up by Rob Jackson. Ricky Santos still in at quarterback for the East squad. They've gotten great play from Smith. Oh, they've got the ball loose, and the West comes up with it. Nick Osborne coming up with the fumble recovery out of San Diego State.
Finally, Ricky Santos from the shotgun just doesn't step far enough into this handoff. He doesn't get it secured inside, sticks it on the side of the running back, and it drops to the ground.
Well, we've seen the East take advantage of turnovers. Now can the West take advantage of turnovers?
SD, baby. SD State,
yeah, Kevin O'Connell is back in there, and when we talked to him earlier on the sideline, it's about getting in a rhythm as a quarterback, and he didn't find that in that first quarter of this game. You see if he can find it right here.
Penix in the backfield, and he has the football. Tries to get to the outside, uses the stiff arm. And he is going to be corralled by Nakamura, who's had a nice game today with an interception, a couple of pretty good tackles.
That might be a big help.
And Nakamura has shown up today as well. You're right. That free safety from Cincinnati. He's an active guy. You can see down here on field level, his run support angles are very, very sound, and you can see it on that play.
He also had the punt return also, so he's had a big day. 5'10", 190. No gain on the play.
How about Ernie Will right here? He's a big wide receiver down on the lower part of the screen, number 82. He's the guy that has to show up right now. Kevin O'Connell has to find the big 6'5" wide receiver.
Tyvon Branch is covering him one-on-one. O'Connell going with the deep out. Caught by Jordan over the 40-yard line. They'll mark him out at the 42-yard line. Robert Jordan's first reception. Tyrell Johnson on the coverage.
That's a good play.
It was a nice play call at the right time against the right defense. Jordan's just going to run to the corner. Man-to-man coverage gets him on his hip. and then makes a difficult catch at the end. And Jordan's the guy out of all the receivers here in this game. Most people said he's the most polished route runner of all the receivers, and you could see it right there, running away from that defender, creating separation.
Well, they get the first down, and O'Connell will go to the air again, in the flat again, caught inside the 45 to the 40-yard line. There's Jason Rivers. We talked about him at the top of the show. He picks up 17. We saw his ability to pick up those yak yards, Kelly.
Yeah, and that really is part of the scouting report on Jason Rivers, the ability to do something with the ball after he gets it in his hands. Yards after a catch are so important. Every yard is critical at that next level in the NFL, but also look at the timing right now with Kevin O'Connell. He's getting in the field in this game.
Another first down. Look out, pressure from the right side, and he is going to be dropped. Nice job. Brian Johnston got off the line of scrimmage so quickly. That's a nice play.
Yeah. Out
of Gardner Webb, the running Bulldogs.
Brian Johnston, he's that guy who has all the measurables. Explosive off the ball, coming off the edge, finds the quarterback and eventually gets O'Connell on the ground right there. But Brian Johnston is very interesting. You talked about it from Gardner Webb, but he runs a 4.6 40. It's 6'5", 280 pounds. I mean, that's just absolutely absurd, but you could see the speed on that play.
Third sack in this ball game. A little slip screen to Penix. He may get back to the original line of scrimmage, but getting back to Johnston, isn't this what this game's all about, Kelly? You have somebody from a smaller school like Gardner Webb, and he's able to come here, play against the so-called bigger boys and have success. I think that shows the scouts that he can play at this level.
Ron, did you lose me there for a minute?
I think I did.
I had an official that was actually asking me if I knew the score to the NFL game. Hello, we're at a college football game here.
You should have just made one up. O'Connell, straight drop, again to the out pattern. Again, it's caught right at the first down marker. Nice reception by Jason Rivers, his second of the ball game. And that got the crowd excited. That's the hometown young man.
Jason Rivers really has an opportunity to have his stock rise. He's had a little difficulty off the field. He hasn't stayed healthy, but he had a big end of the year in that June Jones style offense from Colt Brennan. He has a lot of upside, and if he can show people that he can be consistent, he's going to be a player at that next level.
Another first down, back to the ground game. Penix tries to bounce after getting the initial slug. By the way, tell the official Green Bay won 42-20 over Seattle, Kelly. In case,
is that right?
Yeah, you
okay.
go ahead. So Brett Favre's Cinderella season remains intact.
42-20.
I'm being told it was also in the snow. Gee, that's too bad. Second down and 9. Just over 6.5 to play. Here in quarter number 3, in case you just joined us. Glad you're with us for the 2008 Cornerstone Hula Bowl. 21-0 was our halftime score. O'Connell, nice play fake, straight drop. Again, the deep out. Again, it's caught. The 15-yard line, C.J. Hawthorne, using every bit of that 5'11" frame to come down with the football.
A couple of Hawaii rainbows down here at the bottom of the screen. Jason Rivers was outside and ran a post route, and Hawthorne was inside and came on an outside route, and very good timing between the Hawaii receivers right now and Kevin O'Connell, and they're moving the football.
What is this?
And O'Connell doing a nice job on this drive. Ball's at the 15-yard line. Play fakes, nobody's there. Now he's in trouble. Trying to make something out of nothing. Throws. That pass is going to be incomplete. I think everybody went left, Kelly, instead of going right. Wasn't sure about that play.
Yeah, that didn't exactly look smooth on that play. But Kevin O'Connell doing the right thing once again. That's a management play, and that's what the NFL wants to see. When the play goes awry, what is your decision making that kicks in? And that time Kevin O'Connell did the right thing. Throw it out of bounds, live to play another down.
5 for 6, 65 yards on this drive for Kevin O'Connell. Now he'll go from the shotgun. Pressure up the middle. Throws into the end zone. Incomplete. Pass intended for Evan Moore out of Stanford. You can hear
that would have been a
squeeze
difficult
it.
catch,
Yeah.
but that's the catch that Evan Moore is going to have to consistently make to get the eyes of the scouts, because right now Evan Moore's hands are being called into question this week in practice. He's a big,
What you got, Danny?
big receiver, 6'7", 200 and almost 40 pounds. He could be a tight end pretty easily, but he has to consistently catch the ball well, and he didn't on that play.
That brings up a 3rd down and 10. O'Connell trying to keep the drive alive out of Carlsbad, California and San Diego State. Little pump fake going into the end zone. No, incomplete. Intended for Penix. At the last second, looked like Marcus Richardson got his hand up out of Troy, part of the Troy Trojans.
Yeah, Penix was running a wheel route. He went to the flat and then turned it up the field. The ball was slightly behind him on his back shoulder. It was almost in my lap. That's why I had a pretty good view of the play. But the ball, if it's put out in front of him, maybe another 1.5 feet, that's probably a touchdown.
The wheel right now goes wide to the right. C.J. Hawthorne in the slot, also on the right side. 4th down and 10. O'Connell straight drop. Here comes the pressure. Looks, throws, touchdown for the West.
Let's go now.
Robert Jordan with the reception out of Cal. Held the Cal record 42 game straight with a reception. He gets one here for the touchdown.
Yeah, Ron, that was a play that wasn't happening in the first half. O'Connell didn't have a feel for this group of receivers, and they didn't really have a feel for him. But that time, Jordan and O'Connell were on the same page. That was a broken route after the scramble, and they found one another. They weren't doing that in the first half.
And the extra point wasn't pretty, but it was good. Robert Jordan had 3 touchdowns for the Cal Bears and Jeff Tedford during the regular season. He gets 1 here this afternoon. That cuts the lead down to 24-7.
You wouldn't take your family into an adult video store. So why book a hotel room selling pay-per-view hardcore pornography, especially when you have a choice? CleanHotels.com, your source for family-friendly accommodations. CleanHotels.com, the family choice.
Since the publication of Family Driven Faith, I've received hundreds of emails and letters. The most fascinating of those have come from pastors, like this one who writes, "Dear Dr. Bauckham, in short, your book, Family Driven Faith, has transformed my life and the life of my family." One pastor writes, "I believe that everyone who has kids, might have kids, is married, or one day will be married, needs to read this book. Family Driven Faith is more than just a book. It's a revolutionary tool bringing about cultural transformation, one home at a time."
Time stands still. You want to get to your feet and keep moving, no matter what direction. Just don't lay there. If there's nowhere to go, you know where to run. Just wad up in a ball and just pray everything's gonna be all right.
Kevin O'Connell engineering the drive, ending up with a touchdown pass to Robert Jordan from Cal. That makes it 24-7 with about 5:36 to play in quarter number 3. From about the 3-yard line for the East. Straight ahead running, not much doing for Andre Callender. Lewis Johnson standing by with a previous Hula Bowl MVP.
Yeah, Ron, let's test everybody's memory of this game. 1981, quarterback for Washington State, Samoa. And so you hear, we were just talking about this sideline is where you were so many years ago. Run that list of names of people that you were playing with that year. What do you remember, Samoa?
Yeah, we have Ronnie Lott, Mike Singletary, Mark May, we have Keith Van Horn.
Okay.
And we have so much all the good athletes in those days. So we had Kenny Easley. Oh, in that day, everybody was trying to take everybody's head off. You know, but now, you know, I can see is, you know, the game is more faster, you know, more skills, but I'm really excited I've been here.
Now, you're the athletic director for the Department of Education in Samoa. You got about 65,000 residents there, but some of those kids are trying to make it to the college level and then hopefully to the pro level. What are you doing now to try and help them make that dream come true?
Well, I'm trying to sell any athletes back home, especially the elementary and the secondary level. Any kids that would like to go into college, we have to prepare, and especially the SAT test score nowadays is high, and we're trying to get especially a tutor program so that we can get our athlete up so that they can provide it a good program, especially for the college.
Now, speaking of high, this temperature over here is high, and I just said I was hot a moment ago, and you said if I come to American Samoa, we were going to drink what to help with what?
Oh, it helps kava. It's a kava drink.
Kava drink.
Yes.
And then some kava drink. Kelly over there is on the dark side. It's shaded here. We're burning up over here, so I need some kava.
That's right. You need to come to American Samoa. We'll give you the best cover there is.
I'm on my way. Ron, back up to you guys.
All right. You start drinking a kava juice, you'll start wearing a hat like that, Lewis. On first down, pass caught, another first down. Inside the 40-yard line, still on his feet to the 37-yard line is Josh Morgan from Virginia Tech. Now let's check in with Kelly. He's standing by with Robert Jordan, Mr. Touchdown today.
Robert Jordan right here, the wide receiver from Cal. You just got the West on the board. Explain to me what happened on that play.
It was just a little post corner route. You know, I try to work a little inside, and somehow I got the DB to lose himself, and, you know, quarterback was fortunate enough to stay with me, and I made something happen with the ball.
You know, Kevin O'Connell stepped up in the pocket, and he found you. That's the hard thing to get down when you only have a couple of practices together, but you did it on that play.
Yeah, that's that West Coast. You know,
that's right, that's right.
No, we're just out here trying to have fun and make plays with each other and do the best we can with a week of preparation, you know.
Turn around and show me what's on your back here. What's that mean?
That's family first, baby. Y'all better learn about it, you know what I'm saying? That's all my family, baby. Family first. I got a tattoo, too.
All right, your family's proud of you right now for that catch.
Yes, sir.
Go get another one.
All right.
Back to you, Ron.
All right, thanks very much. Second down, 10 for the East. Trying to answer the touchdown by the West. Josh Morgan, 3 receptions for this East squad today. Had a nice catch and run there. 3 receptions, 82 yards. Second down and 10. Santos getting a lot of playing time at QB. They run the draw. Straight ahead running. Got some running room. The official takes a dive. Here's Parmel. Finally shoved out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. 26 yards.
Way to go, Toledo!
Oh, you hear the crowd. Here you go, Toledo. Misses. Jukes one tackle,
Parmel
2-3.
does a nice job on that Lido, as you can hear in the background, of bouncing it outside. There are so many times in the running game where there isn't anything at the point of attack. The good running backs get something done in spite of that.
See the numbers on him, 5.5 yards a carry, 14 touchdowns. East encouraging their squad to stick it in the end zone. Here's Santos over center. Alvin McRae, a little hard running over the right side out of Decatur, Georgia. With the Ohio Bobcats, all MAC, 3 straight years, 1,000 yards rushing for McRae.
Yeah, and Ron, that productivity is what people like about McRae. What he has to do is show that he's elusive enough to get those extra yards at that next level. But when you have a running back that's been as productive, what you just said, someone's going to take a chance on that young man.
That's right. Second down and goal from the 6. Closing it on 3 minutes to play in the third. Armley again. This time he's grabbed from behind at the 7-yard line. Nick Osborne doing a nice job. Out of San Diego State, Kensington, California.
Yeah, Nick Osborne, that defensive end, was actually the backside defensive end, and he was hustling down the line of scrimmage, and that's what scouts are looking for. You heard from Jim, the scout from the Broncos earlier, from Lewis. They're evaluating everything. You cannot take a play off if you want to play at the next level.
Well, he was a defensive tackle as a junior. They moved him to the outside. 3-year starter at San Diego State. Third down and goal now for Ricky Santos. The rifles the pass. Intercepted! Oh, is this going to go to the house? Santos trying to track him down, and he does. Myron Newberry
baby. How about
Dropped
that?
an interception earlier, comes up with a pick there. And Santos had to track him down and knock him out, or it would have been 6.
Way to hang in there, guys.
Change of possession.
Way to hang in there.
2:20 left to play in the third. The West will have it when we come back.
Ever wonder why, if the money-making plans you've heard so much about are really so good, why do they make you pay hundreds and thousands of dollars up front? Mary Gersten, once a desperate single mom of 4, stumbles onto the CMPS money-making secret and shocks the world when she reveals these secrets absolutely free. That's right. For a limited time, you can get Mary's little-known 45-day secret shortcut report and audio that shows you how to put as much as $300 royalties per day in your pocket for free. Just log on to www.guaranteedpayincrease.com and request your free report and audio called the 24-Hour Web Cache Secret and discover how this jealously guarded secret can help you quickly and easily make money from the comfort of your kitchen table. Warning! This offer is strictly limited and can be withdrawn at any time. Log on to www.guaranteedpayincrease.com right now and discover Mary's CMPS secret and why it's almost a license to print money.
The 24-hour webcast secret could eliminate all your roadblocks to success forever. Take advantage of this free offer right now.
Myron Newberry had 4 picks during the regular season. Ricky Santos threw only 7. He throws it on this one, Kelly.
Yeah, Santos is throwing the slant to Hawker, and we saw Hawker had a great first half, but that time he let Newberry, the defensive back, come underneath of a slant, and you can't do that as a receiver. And then Santos, you can see, does not give up on the play, and that really is his reputation. He's gritty, he continues to play hard, and that's why he'll be in someone's camp and have an opportunity to make a team at the next level.
Well, they call Newberry a solid cover guy here in Hawaii, and we saw it there. But Santos, I think, showed us a lot more, too. How about a little razzle-dazzle reverse? Going around the left side, C.J. Hawthorne cuts back in over the 40 to the 41-yard line. Larry Grant on the stop.
Second 4.
That'll bring up a 2nd down and 4 to go. T.C. Ostrander back in the ball game at quarterback for this West squad.
Right, let's go, let's go.
Had a fumble earlier. You see the numbers on Hawthorne. Originally from Gulfport, Mississippi. Andy Woodhead back in the ball game at that tailback spot for the West. 2 wide receivers to the right. The fake to Woodhead. Here comes the pressure. Beating the double team from that right side. Marcus Howard doing a nice job out of Georgia, but boy, did he beat the double team on the right side of that defensive line. I tell you what, Kelly, this young man showed us something on that play. Howard, 10.5 sacks this past season for Mark Richt and the Georgia Bulldogs. It's his first this afternoon. That brings up a 3rd down and long. We'll call it 13. Ostrander seeing the pressure again. Thrown behind the intended receiver, Jason Rivers. He had some mustard on that. Rivers just couldn't turn around and grab it.
That was the timing that we saw in that last drive between Rivers and O'Connell. They were catching up with one another, but that time the ball was well behind him.
4th down, West going to kick it away. Some confusion on the East squad.
Once again in the special teams, and remember, a lot of the guys playing special teams in an all-star setting haven't played much special teams with their own home teams, and so that's one thing you see in all-star type situations.
Reggie Campbell from the Naval Academy from his own 22-yard line. Takes a couple of hits, gets thrown out of bounds up to the 27-yard line. 46 yards on the kick. Pretty good effort. Waylon Prather having a pretty good game today. out of San Jose State.
That was a tight end on the end. Yeah.
And the East will take over inside of 40 seconds to play here in quarter number 3. There's Danny Langsdorf, also a coach at Oregon State, talking to Mike Riley on the sideline.
And Mike Riley is the head coach of Oregon State, obviously, but he also calls the plays. But he wants to give Danny the opportunity to call the plays here in a setting like this to get his young man experience as well.
We didn't block the reverse very well either.
No, TC would have kept up.
One of the great young coaches.
He made a decision, and then he's got to keep going.
First down and 10 for the East. Santos back in the ball game. Pass is complete. Missed tackle. Jabari Arthur's finally going to be run out of bounds, but not before he gets a first down, his third catch of the day.
What is that place?
Yeah, and Arthur was running an underneath route, and Thomas Williams, number 51, USC linebacker, if he didn't go for the football, he absolutely could have taken Arthur out of his cleats, but he missed both in that case.
Arthur, Akron's all-time record holder in receiving and yards. And there's a good shot at Thomas Williams. That's another incredible story. Here's a guy who got lost in the shuffle, all the great linebackers at USC.
Was a fullback midseason last year, and now is in an all-star game and really has the tools to make a dent at the next level.
Santos rifling the ball again. Darryl Strong, his 4th reception. So the big tight end from Pitt in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, making a little impression today.
Yeah, Darryl Strong has made a good impression, Ron, all week. He's solid in most aspects of playing that position. He's very physical on the line of scrimmage. He can set the edge, as they say, and bringing that run out to him. But he caught absolutely everything in sight this week, and the scouts obviously love that.
And that's going to be the end of quarter number 3. We head to the 4th and final stanza. Mike Riley saw his team go down 21-0. They've added a touchdown. But as we head to the 4th stanza, it's 24-7, East over the West.
An ex-porn star.
And I was doing very hard sex acts I swore I'd never do.
A platinum-selling rock star.
Pornography, alcohol, drugs, I was just out of my mind.
The former heavyweight champion of the world and sex addict turned sex doctor.
Within the next 48 hours, I'm having sex.
What do all these people have in common? One life-altering experience. Daystar. Experience it. Log on to daystar.com for local listings.
The Mountain West Ultimate Grudge match is on. BYU, Utah versus College Hoops. Next Saturday, 4 Eastern.
Are you one of the millions of people struggling to learn a new language? Well, thanks to our breakthrough software called Rosetta Stone, learning a new language is now incredibly easy and a whole lot faster.
I've probably learned more in the first 2 weeks than I have in months of taking formal classes.
Rosetta Stone is so fast and effective, it's used by the U.S. State Department, NASA, the U.S. Army, and Fortune 500 companies, and is the world's leading language learning software.
It's almost like having your own person there teaching you, your own private tutor who is just very relaxed in your home with you, sitting there teaching you the language.
Rosetta Stone is the fastest way to learn a new language. And to prove it, we'll send you our amazing demo CD, absolutely free when you call.
This really is a great program.
I believe that you can learn any language with this program.
So call now or visit our website and see for yourself why Rosetta Stone is the fastest way to learn a new language, guaranteed.
Mountain West Ultimate Grudge match is on. BYU, Utah versus College Hoops. Next Saturday, 4 Eastern.
Welcome back to the 2008 edition of the Cornerstone Hula Bowl. Along with Kelly Stauffer, Lewis Johnson, I'm Ron Thulin. Glad you're with us today from Honolulu, Hawaii. 62nd edition of this ball game. And as we head to the 4th quarter right now, the East leading the West 24-7. And we've got Paul Smith back in at quarterback. Played the first quarter, had 2 rushing touchdowns. Steps up in the pocket, pass thrown, incomplete. Pass was intended to Bruce Hocker.
Out of way to go.
That's Mike Riley. In case you just joined us, we've got Ron Zook, Mike Riley, the respective coaches. East and West mic'd up. Second down and 10. Paul Smith, his father Ron telling me today that Paul got up yesterday, started to feel kind of cruddy, got a little cold working right now. But he said his son said it doesn't matter. Got to come out here and perform today, and he's done a nice job. Hand off to Keon Lattimore. He gets tripped up right at the line of scrimmage. Nice job by Thomas Williams, that linebacker from USC we were talking about earlier. The scouts really like him. Take a look at Michael Lafayette.
Thomas Williams, I mean, imagine being lost in the depth chart to the point where you are actually the lead blocker as a fullback midseason in 2006, and then he comes out, and in the Rose Bowl he had a great game. He was everywhere, and he'll get a chance at the next level.
I think he will too. Scouts were telling me they like him. Smith being dragged down from behind back at the 46-yard line. Jeff Van Orso out of Oregon State, the senior from Las Vegas, Nevada. You know, he is one of the quickest defensive ends in the Pac-10.
Yeah.
And he always seems to come up with big plays.
You know what's interesting, Ron, from the scouts, what you hear is
every play.
Does he have enough speed to get, you know, as an edge rusher,
right,
which you can see right there, it seems to me that he has pretty good speed, but then to anchor when the run comes to you, you know, you have to be really good in one of those areas to make a living at that position in the NFL.
You heard Mike Riley says he comes on every play. Lawson standing inside his own 5-yard line, the end over kick. Then we're in kick, and he's going to let it roll. Is going to get in the end zone. Nice job by the East. They'll down it at the 2-yard line. Outstanding kick, covered 52 yards.
No.
24-7 is our score.
Get the ball up and out.
At Franklin Springs Family Media, we're working to provide your family with films that will strengthen, entertain, and encourage families. From A Journey Home to Still Standing, the Stonewall Jackson story, to the musical artistry of the Eden String Quartet and Charlie Zahm and the Peace-All Sisters. We're telling stories that are enriching families around the world. Log on to franklinsprings.com for films that will further a hopeful vision for your family.
This president might have passed unnoticed by history, except for an incident that left its mark on him and a nation. When this 13-year-old POW refused to shine a redcoat officer's boots, the officer's saber left a lifelong scar and a hatred for all things British. 30 years later at the Battle of New Orleans, Andrew Jackson led a ragtag American army to defeat the most powerful fighting force in the world. That's his story. What's yours? Tell us at circahistory.com.
Time stands still. You're just, you want to get to your feet and keep moving no matter what direction. Just don't lay there. If there's nowhere to go, you know where to run, just wad up in the ball and just pray everything's gonna be all right.
All right, welcome back. 13:22 left to play in the ball game. The East leading the West 24-7. Outstanding punt coverage by the East. Down in the ball at about the 3-yard line. West takes over. They're back to the wall. TC Ostrander in at quarterback. Straight drop. Looking deep. Going down the near side. Floats it up in the air. Intended for Jason Rivers. Knocked away at the last second by Tyvon Branch out of Connecticut and Cicero, New York.
You know, Ron, once again, Jason Rivers is showing what he brings to that position of wide receiver. He got off the line of scrimmage, got downfield in a hurry, and gave his quarterback room to fade him to the outside. TC underthrew him a little bit, but Jason Rivers is proving that he has something to apply at the next level.
Well, TC Ostrander 0 for 5 throwing the football today, and he has 1 fumble. The running game over the right side. Over the 5-yard line up to about the 7-yard line. Marcus Thomas from UTEP. Nakamura, another tackle, his second of the ball game to go along with the interception.
He's had a nice game.
Yes,
Shannon Tavaga, the guard from UCLA, number 60, pulled on that play, and he's a nice player as well. What's interesting is you hear one of the words with him is inconsistent.
Right.
I've read where that young man is the #1 guard in the draft to somewhere in the low teens.
Yeah.
And so that's the inconsistency. You know, it's a subjective business anyway, but Shannon needs to get consistent in his play.
Ostrander going on the out pattern. Pass is caught up to the 15-yard line. That'll be good for a first down. Robert Jordan, who has a touchdown catch this afternoon. That's a lot. That's kind of a buzzword we've heard from a lot of scouts about certain players. Inconsistent.
Yeah.
You know, and we were talking to a number of the scouts who said, what are you looking for this week? Number one, they look to see if the guy can get any bigger. Number two, they're looking for consistency because they've watched these guys over the course of a season. They're kind of narrowing things down right now.
Right. You're exactly right. That's a great way to put it. And remember, at the NFL level, you need to do things consistently well because you're playing against the best of the best every down, and 1 or 2 downs at that level makes a huge difference because you can't have a brain cramp and not do it right one play and then do it right 10 plays in a row. That doesn't cut it at the next level.
Marcus Thomas on the carry, and that's a man that they talked about being inconsistent. 2 straight seasons, though, 1,000 yards rushing. Second down and 6. Ostrander straight back, and he's going to be stripped again. His second fumble of the ball game. Picked up inside the 10-yard line, down to the 8-yard line. J.T. Mapu. He got the recovery. He's forced a fumble. Now he's recovered one today.
I can't even see really who gets around the edge right there and comes up with that strip.
Looks like Marcus Dixon came up with a strip.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think it was Dixon off the edge, turned the corner quickly, and then Mapu was there to pick it up. And T.C. Ostrander has to understand that at this level, playing against this talent, you're always, as a quarterback, going to have someone around you.
Right.
So you have to protect that football. Keep it inside. He's had it hanging loose in his throwing hand on 3 occasions now.
Well, he accounts for 2 of those 5 West turnovers.
Who was that?
And he wants to know who that was.
Yeah.
Coach, was Marcus Dixon from Hampton.
Yeah, Hampton Pirate, 6'4", 295. Yeah. Dixon came off the edge real quickly.
Well, we've got a team timeout. 11:45 left to play in the ball game. East with another forced turnover, knocking on the door again.
We'd love to show you the world's next great video game. There's only one problem. You haven't created it yet. You've played them, now you can make them with DeVry's new bachelor's degree program in game and simulation programming. It's classrooms and labs where you actually create video games. Games like you'll find when you log on now. You'll learn more about this exciting degree program and get free video game demos from Vivendi Games. It's time to take it to the next level. You can earn a 4-year degree in less than 3 with classes that start right away. And since it's DeVry, you know you'll get this and even more of this. Call or log on for your free video game demos. But do it now, because when you're a gamer, you know what happens when you stand still. So call or log on for your free video game demos. It's right now, and it's here at DeVry.
11:45 left to play in the ball game. The East leading the West 24-7 in the 2008 edition of the Cornerstone Hula Bowl. With the story and Mike Riley during the break. Somebody asked him how many turnovers. He said at least 5. He goes, that's the ball game, guys, right there. 5 turnovers.
No question.
So the East knocking on the door again. 1st and goal. Ball is on the 7-yard line. Bernard Morris back into the lineup. He has been impressive out of Marshall. Trips, stays on his feet, chased from behind. He's going to wisely throw it right at our camera. That's expensive, Bernard. Don't be breaking our camera.
Good decision, but throw it somewhere else.
Actually, we don't get to keep the ball?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Got to throw it back. I thought we had a souvenir.
Yeah, really.
But once again, Morris, he didn't get away from the line of scrimmage very gracefully, but at the end, he made a good decision. You're down here, you have to be telling yourself as a quarterback, at the very least, we line up and kick a field goal. So if anything else isn't there, I throw the ball away, and we do that.
Morris purifying now in the slot. Three-step drop, looking, little fade pattern is going to be overthrown. Pass intended for Bruce Hocker. Out of Upper Marlboro, Maryland, played for Duquesne in Pittsburgh.
Nice coverage by Brian Weatherspoon from Stillman College, and that time you could see what Morris has to understand is the ball has to come out much quicker when you're playing against faster personnel. Your receivers get downfield and in the spot quicker. The defenders get there quicker. You have to speed things up as a quarterback as well.
So now they face third down and goal. Callender in the backfield. Morris will hand it to Callender. Right up the middle, inside the 5, down to the 1-yard line. No touchdown. The officials have not given us the signal. I think they're going to mark it right at about the 1-foot line.
A nice job of play calling, changing it up. Third and long in the red zone. They give it to Callender kind of on the draw. Very well blocked, sealed up inside, and Callender tried his best to get that in the end zone, but that's how far he has to go, about 6.3 inches.
And the East is going to go for it on 4th down. They're 2 of 4 this afternoon.
No, the guard, they got it.
And Morris is a big guy, and once again, we told you he had more rushing attempts than passing attempts. Let's see if he just sneaks it in. Right behind him. He's got it. Into the end zone, touchdown again, the East.
Very well blocked up front. The West didn't look like they were real interested in this play, to tell you the truth. The East had a hat on a hat, and in the end, Parmalee just walks it right in the end zone. Very well blocked up front. That's what we weren't seeing in the first half, especially in the running game, is the offense getting a good fit in the running game. Shoulder to shoulder, going and finding the guy that they're supposed to put a hat on. They weren't doing that in the first half.
And here comes the extra point attempt. Old Jalen, back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing years at over 1,500 this season. No rush on the extra point, and it is good. He has 6 catches, 46 yards, and the touchdown running the football. Now let's check in with Lewis Johnson. Lewis, is it still hot over there?
It is still hot, but let me tell you something. Ever since I got to the hotel on Wednesday, there's been one group that's been clearly the life of the party, and it happens to be the family of Joey Hanos, who's playing tight end for the East team. He's out of Maryland. I've got his mom here, twin sister, the aunt. We've also got his godmother, and then a lady here who just left her family to come along on the trip.
I'm sorry, Carl. I love you. Lewis, can we tell everybody how we met and where we met?
Well, no, we don't want to tell them about the jacuzzi. Hold on just a minute now. This is Mom Maureen. First of all, you know, your son was discovered in high school. I believe one of the coaches here, Loxley, was down at a game watching someone else and saw him. Tell us about that process and to how he's gotten here with a shot to get to the NFL.
It's been very exciting. It's been a lot of hard work on Joey's part and the coach's part over in Maryland. And Mike Loxley saw him in his senior year of high school. They didn't have any scholarships left, but he liked the way he played. Joey had a breakout game that day, and Mike said, let's bring you on as a walk-on, and if you do well, you'll get a scholarship. After 2 years, Joey earned a scholarship, and he has done nothing but improve since. He went in at like 215 and weighs about 265 now. And he grew a few inches. He's 6'8" now, and he got invited to the combine, and he's got a shot at possibly going to the NFL.
Well, I think it's big for everybody. I'll talk to his aunt Eileen here. You know, when I asked Joey earlier, I said, where's the family? He kind of dropped his head and said, please don't bring him down any closer to the field. What's up with you guys?
That's Joey. Joey doesn't like a whole lot of attention, and it's hard for him to avoid it with us around.
And Carrie, the godmother back here, she's really the life of the party. We met at the jacuzzi. Everybody was there. It was daylight, so don't think anything. How much fun has this been for you?
Oh, it's been so much fun. And Sharon, I want to thank you, and you know why.
And all right, for the lady who ditched her family to come out here and go along for the ride, one quick comment from you.
I'm sorry, Kyle, I didn't bring you with me. I love you.
Kyle is a son. You better bring him more than a shirt, all right?
Yeah, right.
They're having a lot of fun, and we'll just have to see what happens with Joey Hanos. I like my hat, guys. You like it? Ron, you like my hat?
See, Kelly, Lewis Johnson, party animal, the Martha Stewart of parties here, huh?
Is that hat alive? Is that thing?
Oh, no. Oh, boy. Evanson Bernard on the carry. He has been quiet today. Serge Sincere coming up to make the stop. That is his second tackle. Haven't talked about Serge Sincere.
Look at they're stealing his hat now.
That's a good
family,
lid, though.
Yeah.
That was going to make its way back to Dallas. And
we need to find some more of those. There's Joey. He's trying to find a place to hide, seeing that thing on the air.
Really, 2 catches, 27 yards for Joey. Closing in on 10 minutes to play in a ball game. Now we have Alex Brink back in at quarterback for this West squad. Bernard popped at the line of scrimmage, still on his feet. Leans forward up to the 38-yard line. He'll be very close to the first down. Kennard Cox making the stop. The cornerback out of Pitt.
Hailey Taylor, the defensive end out of North Carolina, was in on that as well. And we talked about Bernard. I think he's a very nice player. I don't know if he's going to be a first-day guy at that second level, Alex. But he might find himself in the second day, you know, 4th, 5th round, someone there. But he's a player. He can do a lot of things for his team.
Mike Riley said of all the backs I've coached in 30 years, he's the best. Here he goes to the outside. Thinks like he's going to lower the shoulder and just kept running and able to pick up about 8 on the play.
And Ron, the interesting thing about Bernard is he's from Florida and ended up all the way up the northwest coast going to Oregon State. And we're like, how did that happen? The schools in Florida let you go, but at the end of the day, they saw the same thing. You know, I don't know, 5'9", at that time, less than 200 pounds. But Mike Riley took a chance, and he's very happy he did that.
4 carries, 18 yards today, plus he's got a reception. This time a little play fake to him. Brink looking down the middle deep, has a man caught inside the 15 down to the 10-yard line. It's Robert Jordan. Couple of Pac-10 guys hooking it up.
And if you want to doubt Alex Brink's arm strength, this is the throw that proves that he can throw about anything. He drives the post route in. It's a very difficult throw. It has to be up and down in a hurry because Jordan had his man beat. But if that ball isn't there on time and on a line, it doesn't get there. But Robert Jordan undersized himself, but all he does, Ron, is keep making plays.
That's right. 43 yards that one covered. Inside of 9:40 to play in the ball game. West getting a sustained drive finally from Alex Brink. Bernard running between the tackles, takes a hit, still on his feet, gets inside the 10-yard line, down about the 7. We saw his durability right there, Kelly. He took a wallop.
And that's the thing, too, Ron. I saw that someone was questioning his durability, but he played in like 34 consecutive games. I mean, if that isn't durable at that position, as many carries as he's had, 275 in 07, I mean, that's durable as a running back.
Now, second down, we'll call it 6. Brink. Play action, looking into the end zone, incomplete. Pass intended for Brett Miller.
Great time for Brush, Danny.
Well, one quarterback that's played well this game is Paul Smith, and there he is with his father, Ron Smith. Won a state title at Edmond Deer Creek, just outside of Oklahoma City. Been a high school coach for over 30 years. One of the most respected coaches in the high school ranks, all of Oklahoma. He said, listen, I thought my son was going to be a baseball player. He threw a 91-mile-per-hour fastball.
Yeah, that gets there in a hurry. What's interesting, when you ask Paul yesterday about his dad, there's so much love and affection that he could hardly answer the question.
Right.
And it's a guy who's coached him and is still coaching him. You can tell right there on the sideline of this All-Star game.
They're going to go for it. Go ahead.
Well, third down. Bernard gets down about the 5-yard line. That'll bring up a 4th down at about 3. Marcus Richardson from Troy on the stop. And there's Paul Smith. Got to bring his wife on this trip. Once again, he turns around and leaves tomorrow. Goes back to Tulsa and says adios, got to get down to Houston.
And he's a nice player, has a nice feel for this game, manages the game well. And you can throw the size right out the window because his, you know, at 6'2", 200 pounds, he's probably going to put on more weight. That's one thing he told us yesterday. He wants to do that, but he's technically and mechanically sound and makes plays.
On fourth down, Brink going into the end zone. No, incomplete. Didn't get the foot down.
Get a turnover down there,
Boy,
Scott.
I want to take a look at this one again.
Evan Moore at 6'7", he's a great red zone weapon, and Alex Brink obviously knows that. Roll to the left, throw it up there where only he can get it.
Oh, he got his
right.
on the line, yeah.
And you have to sell out right there. He wanted to stay on his feet, but Evan Moore just needs to get him down.
Oh, no replay in this ball game. West still trails.
Time stands still. You're just, you want to get to your feet and keep moving, no matter what direction. Just don't lay there. If there's nowhere to go, you know where to run. Just wad up in the ball and just pray everything's gonna be all right.
You wouldn't take your family into an adult video store. So why book a hotel room selling pay-per-view hardcore pornography, especially when you have a choice? CleanHotels.com, your source for family-friendly accommodations. CleanHotels.com, the family choice.
An ex-porn star.
And I was doing very hard sex acts I swore I'd never do.
A platinum-selling rock star.
Pornography, alcohol, drugs, I was just out of my mind.
The former heavyweight champion of the world and sex addict turned sex doctor.
Within the next 48 hours, I'm having sex.
What do all these people have in common? One life-altering experience. Daystar. Experience it. Log on to daystar.com for local listings.
As we mentioned earlier this week, the North Shore and parts of Oahu had high wave warnings up to 30, 40 feet. They said no swimming, but they didn't say anything about surfing. Couldn't get Kelly or Lewis to go out there and do that.
That's me right there. What are you talking about?
Just
look at
absolutely
that.
Perfect.
Amazing.
These guys are nuts, man. I'm sorry.
I mean, when you surf, do you not have to swim? What's up with that? I don't get that. Are we missing something here?
I don't know, but how they go underneath that.
That is amazing.
Unbelievable. 31-7 is our score. 5 turnovers by the West. That's been the story of this ball game, in the East leading at 31-7. Ricky Santos back in the ball game. Swings it out to the left side. Pass complete up over the 15 to the 17-yard line. Marcus Fitzgerald on the stop out of Marshall from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Second reception of the afternoon. 3-year starter for Marshall.
And the line on Marcus is that, you know, he has great hands, a good feel of the game, obviously, the pedigree he has.
I got you.
But it's what kind of top end speed and overall size. I mean, those are things that you really can't change much. But does he have a place at the next level? You can find a spot, and then, you know, you stick around a little while, and before long you have a career.
2 receptions, 48 yards. 1st and 10 again for the East. Santos looks left, throws right. Pass complete, another first down. Up over the 25 to the 28-yard line, Jabari Arthur from the Akron Zips. That's his 4th catch.
That one covered any tighter than
you know, here are guys, Kelly, that don't get the national TV exposure that a lot of the other players do. They're taking advantage of this situation today.
Yeah, that's a great point, and that's what really this game is for. You get some spectacular players that will, you know, be in that 1st, 2nd, 3rd round area, but it's guys like Arthur right there that has to come in, and you just have to catch the eyes of one guy, one team.
Right.
You're only going to be drafted by one team, or you're only going to sign with one team, and that's what guys like Jabari Arthur are trying to do today.
Santos, who has an interception, trying to keep the drive alive, throwing over the middle, another first down. Darryl Strong up to the 50-yard line, his 5th reception.
Was that the tight end?
Yes, it was, Mike.
His name is Darryl Strong from Pittsburgh.
And he's burned you for 5 times here.
And you know what's interesting about Strong is he's 6'5", 265, and when he's running routes on the field, sometimes you don't realize that it isn't a wide receiver. That's how polished he is at route running. He has great size, he's physical at the point of attack, but he catches the ball so well you have to stop and think, you know, actually that's a tight end, not a wideout.
Not bad, 51 yards on his 5 catches today. Another first down. Ricky Santos showing us a little something here. Back to the ground game, picking up 2 on the play is Reggie Campbell from the Naval Academy. John Rabold from the Air Force Academy on the stop.
And Reggie Campbell, you talk about getting lost behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
I mean, he absolutely disappears at 5'6", a little less than 170, but there won't be any more get up and go and any players on this field than that young man right there, number 20, Reggie Campbell.
2nd down and 8. Inside of 6 minutes to play in the ball game. McCray now in the backfield. Arthur in motion. Santos slips the tackle, rifles it down the sideline and out of bounds, incomplete. Lewis Holmes could have wrapped him up. The big 6'6", 265-pounder from Arizona wasn't able to finish it up.
Yeah, Santos gave him the slip. And Ron, Lewis Holmes is another interesting story here at this game. From Arizona, 6'6", 265. He has every physical skill in a defensive end that you could want. He can anchor the run. He has the speed to get around the edge. He's explosive. The thing is people question his motivation.
Yeah.
And that's what he's going to have to prove. You know, people at the next level aren't going to make a living out of motivating you. You have to motivate yourself, and can this young man do it consistently?
Here's Campbell, and he leans forward, gets the first down. Scott Derry was holding on to his ankles, but all 5'6", 168 pounds of Reggie Campbell on the run. He picked up 9 on the play. It's not a bad little rush average, 7.4 this past season.
Yeah, Santos sticks it in his belly, and Reggie Campbell knows what to do with it. And he really does have an advantage of 5'6". He literally gets lost by the front 7 behind his own offensive lineman, and then he's quick enough and has enough speed to take advantage when the defense loses the angle on him.
Santos, straight drop over the middle, bobbled, incomplete. Pass was intended for Strong, and this time he couldn't hold on to it. He was open. Santos put it on the money.
And Darryl Strong had some room to do something with that ball after the catch, and that's exactly why he ended up dropping it. A lot of times when a receiver senses that they have more running room, sometimes they forget the basic thing, which is to keep your eye on the ball and catch it.
He's going to score a touchdown. I did.
Santos, 10 of 15, 168 yards throwing. You know, that interception when he tracked Newberry down, that seemed to spark Santos a little bit, Kelly.
I think a guy like Santos, he has to get slapped upside the head once in a while. He kind of plays that way, just like right here.
And he's got the first down, still on his feet, finally decides to slide at the 22-yard line. Ricky Santos from Bellingham, Massachusetts.
Hey, come on. You know, his size is questionable. He has a low release, but he's competitive, and he's what they call a gamer. All he does, Ron, is quarterback his team to one win after another after another. The question is, will he get that opportunity in the NFL?
Okay, give us your assessment. We've got scouts just to our right up here. Are they going to somebody give him a free agent at least a look?
I think so, at least a look. I think there are places like guys like Ricky Santos. I think he will get in training camp, and then if he makes enough plays like he just did, that's how you make a roster spot or the practice squad, and you extend your stay, and then anything's possible.
Now with 4 minutes and 21 seconds left to play in the ball game, we've got a timeout. We'll take a break. East leading the West by a lot.
General Douglas MacArthur made his famous return to the Philippines in October of 1944. Soon, MacArthur knew his war-weary troops needed a break. That break came when Navy and Army would meet on the gridiron. For a few hours, the war was almost forgotten as the cadets won 23-7. MacArthur then sent a telegram to West Point. We have stopped the war to celebrate your magnificent success. That's his story. What's yours? Tell us at circahistory.com.
Time stands still. You're just, you want to get to your feet and keep moving, no matter what direction. Just don't lay there. If there's nowhere to go, you know where to run. Just wad up in the ball and just pray everything's gonna be all right.
We've been working all right.
East leading the West 31-7 in the Cornerstone Hula Bowl for 2008. Versus College Hoops, it's nothing but net in the new year as the Mountain West Conference play gets underway. Next Saturday, it's off to Utah, where one of the nation's best shooting teams looked to ground last year's conference champion, the BYU Cougars. Then in a couple of weeks, in 2 weeks, junior sensation Wink Adams leads UNLV into San Diego State. Conference clashes take center stage on Versus College Hoops. You know, we were talking about Santos. Since that interception, he's 5 of 7 for 67 yards. I think you're right. That was kind of a slap in the head, Kelly.
Well, and watch this right here, where I think we heard the play call. It's all stop on this play, which means the receivers, all 4 of them, are going to run down and just run like hook routes. And then the next time they're going to run stop, and one receiver is going to go to the post to try to get it in the end zone.
And they all stop right at the 15-yard line. That pass is off the hands of Arthur.
Hey, I know this.
So that play right there should set up this play. Now, the outside receiver, maybe on both sides, is going to go to the post right here, where the other one runs the same route they just did on this play. We'll see if they can hit it.
He's going to be good. I kept telling, like, he came on unofficial to Cincinnati. I'm like, look, if you don't offer him, you guys are idiots.
Second down and 10 is Coach Zook talking about recruiting with one of his players.
Yeah, there you go. It never stops with him.
It doesn't, does it? He wants to know where some of these guys are from. Second down and 10. Santos will go from the shotgun. Reggie Campbell joins him in the backfield. Plenty of time. This time he just throws it to Arthur inside the 20-yard line. They'll mark him out inside the 15 at about the 13.5-yard line.
How about Jabari Arthur? I mean, he showed up today. He's had a nice game. J.D. Brookhart is his head coach at Akron, was one of my wide receivers in college, and I know J.D. understands how to play that position, and it's transferred well to Arthur. He's had a nice day today, a nice showing.
J.D.'s doing a nice job at Akron, by the way.
He really is.
Had one of their games a couple years ago. He's a fiery coach. I like him.
Yep. I heard plenty of it in my huddle over the course of 4 years. I'll tell you that.
I'm open. Yeah, okay. 4:08 to play in the ball game. Santos on the ground, and McCray. He started to smell pay dirt inside the 5.
They thought they had it.
Calvin McCray out of Decatur, Georgia, playing for Frank Solich in Ohio. They had it all down. Ron Zook having some fun today.
We were told we were going to be for 38%.
Coaches don't believe the score
anymore. Now we're going to start doing that shit on Friday nights.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Friday.
Oh, God.
From the 5-yard line, Campbell puts his head down. Scott Derry of Texas stands him up right at the 2-yard line and puts him down.
Yeah, Ron, if you're a 5'6", 168-pound running back, and Reggie Campbell is that, Scott Derry's not the guy you want to see at the goal line, I guarantee you. He's physical, he's aggressive, he's smart, he knows angles. He's 230 pounds, and he brings a punch with him when he finds the football.
I'll tell you what, I like number 50, Scott Derry. He had a nice year and played well for Mack Brown and the defense of Dwayne Aquina and Larry McDuff this past season. First and goal. Straight ahead running. We're going to get a signal. Yes, touchdown. Now, one official said touchdown.
And partner, I couldn't help you out. The official on my side was looking over here like we knew something, and I knew I didn't see anything.
Well, there McCray is going to be short, it looks like.
Oh, it looked like he got the ball over right at the end. Maybe his knee was down, but it's where the football is.
He lost
it, but I still think the ball ended up over the goal line when he recovered it. What do you think, Ron, right there about
we'll be the replay
4.5
official.
inches?
Yeah, we'll be the replay official. Let's take 5 minutes and we'll figure it out.
Let's not do that.
2:20 to play in a ball game. Campbell now in the backfield. You see it. 2nd down and goal. Here's Reggie. Puts his head down. Touchdown, Reggie Campbell.
Go Navy.
Oh, they lose their coach, Paul Johnson, but not before he establishes an outstanding program at the Naval Academy. And it's because of players like Reggie Campbell that program is where it is right now.
Yeah, discipline at the Naval Academy and the Air Force, Army, that's not an issue. It's finding the athletes on a year-by-year basis where you can compete. And you're right, Paul Johnson did a great job at the Naval Academy.
And he's going to do a great job at Georgia Tech. 95 yards and 14 plays for the East. I don't think any of us expected it to be 37-7 as the, I think 38-7 as the extra point splits the up race. 2:09 to go. The East on their way to a win over the West in the Hula Bowl.
Ever wonder why, if the money-making plans you've heard so much about are really so good, why do they make you pay hundreds and thousands of dollars up front? Mary Gersten, once a desperate single mom of 4, stumbles onto the CMPS money-making secret and shocks the world when she reveals these secrets absolutely free. That's right. For a limited time, you can get Mary's little-known 45-day secret shortcut report in audio that shows you how to put as much as $300 royalties per day in your pocket for free. Just log on to www.guaranteedpayincrease.com and request your free report in audio called the 24-Hour Web Cache Secret and discover how this jealously guarded secret can help you quickly and easily make money from the comfort of your kitchen table. Warning! This offer is strictly limited and can be withdrawn at any time. Log on to www.guaranteedpayincrease.com right now and discover Mary's CMPS secret and why it's almost a license to print money.
The 24-hour webcast secret could eliminate all your roadblocks to success forever. Take advantage of this free offer right now.
Mike Riley's team, they're having fun, but unfortunately they're on the short end of the stick at 38-7. A couple of his players have stood out and have showed the scouts a little bit of something, and he got a little the water bath, not the Gatorade bath. Woo! Reminiscent of maybe his victory over a couple of those top 5 teams. Well, Santos and Paul Smith behind that little debacle from about the 7-yard line.
We could have used that about 2 hours earlier, but really, it's kind of nice right now.
Yeah, Witherspoon dancing around. Now, we talked about Marcus Fitzgerald, the younger brother of Larry Fitzgerald, but he's also the son of Larry Fitzgerald. He's with Lewis Johnson now. Lewis.
Like that? All right, thanks a lot. They're still laughing about that Gatorade bath you gave Ron Zook. I need one of those. It's so hot. As you mentioned, here's senior, and this is Marcus. First of all, to you, what has this week meant to you to finally make it here as a player?
It's meant everything. You know, coming from a down season at Marshall, you know, this year, statistically, you know, this was a big emotional booster for me. I had a great week of practice, and you know, I had a pretty good game today. But you know, I could have done like a few more things right. But I'm happy with how I did today.
Now, I ask you about coming here as a player because your dad tells me that when you were little, he brought you guys here to the Hula Bowl and to the Pro Bowl to see things. Was the seed planted early for you to want to get to something like this?
I know my dad always wants a pat on the back. You know, he's always trying to find ways to, compliment himself. But
you better give it up to Dad.
Him and my mom brought us out here, to get the experience in Hawaii, and it was definitely good to see the Pro Bowl guys, and how hard they work, and how they get to come out here and enjoy this weather after a hard-working season, and that's what I feel like I'm getting down.
And what about watching your older brother, Larry Fitzgerald Jr., and all the things he did, getting to the NFL, and he's going to be back here for the Pro Bowl. What kind of inspiration did he provide for you as a youngster?
Everything. He's my biggest role model. He's so gifted as a wideout, and he's even a brighter kid. I think I've shined a little bit on that too, on him a little bit, but I give Larry all the compliments in the world because he's definitely showed me the ropes.
Dad, what about you? I mean, this must be something to come and watch your second son now here at a big game with a chance to get to the NFL.
It really is. It's been an incredible week. Marcus he's graduated. He's done everything his late mom and I have ever asked him to do.
Right.
He's just been tremendous. I'm so proud of him, and I can't tell you how happy I am to see him on a winning team in the Hula Bowl.
And from your side, because you're in the media as a writer, also in radio, where do you see him fitting in the NFL?
I think he's going to get his shot as one of the future star slot receivers in this league. He's very disciplined with with his routes. He's got very good hands, and he is a very solid blocker.
All right, and finally, I know you're going to make a trip back here to Honolulu, right, for Larry Jr.?
Absolutely.
We're back in 3 weeks. You can believe that.
You can count on that one.
First class, too.
Guys, congratulations. This is a great family story, you know. I think everybody can identify with this one, Ron.
Absolutely. As
Thanks, guys.
the East, Paul Smith just going to take a couple of knees as the clock ticks about 60. And I think the question now is MVP. I tell you what, Kelly, I'm torn. Sam Polis, who works up here in the booth with us, you know, he looked at Bernard Morris, Ricky Santos. I think you got to consider Hawker. You got to consider Arthur. Josh Morgan's had I don't know who.
But the setup was beautiful.
Well, it was. The fight
I'm not sure myself, but I think I would lean toward Paul Smith. I think that Paul brought that discipline early that his team needed. I think at that quarterback position, he played well. He was settled in fairly early, and that seemed to carry all the way through this game.
Boy, that's a tough. He did set the tone though, following the turnovers. But that's going to do it. The 62nd anniversary of the Cornerstone Hula Bowl here in Honolulu, Hawaii. Ron Zook, the winning coach, got the Gatorade bath.
Good job. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
38-7 is the final score. The East over the West in the Hula Bowl. And of course, Mike Riley just said it was just a great time to be here, but it was the Gatorade bath for Ron Zook. We'll come back to Aloha Stadium in Honolulu to wrap things up after this.
When an imposing and quite drunk defendant named Russell Bean threatened to shoot anyone who dared approach him, neither the sheriff nor his posse could subdue the ruffian. Frustrated by the defendant's blatant disrespect for the rule of law, the judge himself demanded to be deputized.
I'm telling you, I'll shoot anybody who gets in my way.
The judge feared no man.
Surrender, you infernal villain, or I'll blow you through.
Judge, watch out! He got a gun!
Asked by the sheriff why he surrendered to the judge and nobody else, the man simply said he had shoot in them eyes. The judge's name? Andrew Jackson, later America's 7th president. That's his story. What's yours? Tell us at circahistory.com, where the past is always present.
Since the publication of Family Driven Faith, I've received hundreds of emails and letters. The most fascinating of those have come from pastors, like this one who writes, "Dear Dr. Bauckham, in short, your book, Family Driven Faith, has transformed my life and the life of my family." One pastor writes, "I believe that everyone who has kids, might have kids, is married, or one day will be married, needs to read this book. Family Driven Faith is more than just a book. It's a revolutionary tool, bringing about cultural transformation, one home at a time."
It's not hard to know what to do with sons to toughen them up for manhood. But what about the father-daughter relationship? Most dads don't know how to help their girls between their childhood and marriage. But in this new documentary, you can meet 5 dads who know exactly how to love and train their daughters. For your family's sake and your daughter's sake, go to returnofthedaughters.com. Check it out.
The 2008 Cornerstone Hula Bowl on Versus is brought to you by SkywardAssetManagement.com and by New Balance and by Hawaiian Airlines. Only one airline is Hawaiian.
Once again, the final score, 38-7. At the bottom of the hour, the PBR from Worcester coming up right here on Versus Network. That wraps up our football coverage for the 2007 season and a little bit of 2008. We invite you to join us next August and September for both the Pac-10 and Big 12 coverage right here on the Versus Network. East wins it, the final 38-7. For Lewis Johnson, Kelly Stauffer, and our entire crew in Hawaii, I'm Ron Thulin. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great afternoon, everybody.
It'll relieve your symptoms and you'll sleep great.
I will.
You'll sleep like a baby or a lamb, like a log. Yeah, you'll sleep like
Like I would if I didn't have a roommate.